keen to regain his title as well, a 6th British title on the line for Scott Nicholls. Plus, Kelvin Tatum, that elusive wild card spot for the Millennium Stadium and the British Grand Prix at Cardiff. It's a big night here.
Indeed it is, and a terrific incentive for riders to make it through to the Millennium Stadium in 3 weeks' time. It's really invigorated the British Championship once again, so a terrific meeting and prospect.
Always good entertainment at this track as well.
Yeah, the track is always well prepared. It's a fair track, and generally riders enjoy themselves here, so certainly conditions are ideal.
One of the strongest lineups that we've had in this meeting for quite some time, I would suggest.
Yeah, I would say that there's at least half a dozen potential winners. There's no question about that, and we're looking at the odds now. No question and no surprise to see Harris and Nicholls at 2-1.
But what about in-form riders? Eddie Kennett and Ben Barker at 10-1. We know that Ben top scored for Great Britain against Australia on Friday night at Lakeside.
Yeah, exactly. Ben Barker's in superb form, 10-1. Looks quite an attractive price for him. Lee Richardson at 9-1. There's a rider with an awful lot of experience. Hasn't managed to win a British Championship so far in his career. 32 years of age. Maybe tonight could be his night.
I mentioned home advantage for one rider alone tonight, and that is Ty Woofenden, but he is coming back from a shoulder injury, and talking to him just before the meeting, he's still in some discomfort from that shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. He's been out with a nasty shoulder blade injury, and it's been awkward for him to come back. He's had 3 meetings in the last 7 days, so not completely out of touch, but far from ideal preparation for his British Championship here this evening.
We'll build up to the action in the pits with Charlie very shortly, but first of all, taking a look at the track conditions tonight, here's Chris Leary.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, standing down here on the Monmore Green Circuit for this British Championship. And I've got to say, as ever, this track is meticulously prepared. It's in absolutely fantastic shape. There's not a super amount of grip, but just enough for every single rider in this field to feel confident about their ability on the track and want to go out there and race. There's a lot of grip around the outside for the racers. There's a lot of grip around the inside coming off the corners for the thinkers in the field. Now, we've seen Peter Carlson and Frederick Lingland use that week in, week out here at Monmore Green, and it really does add up for some super racing, which is exactly what I think we're going to get here tonight. The grip is exactly where the riders want it, just the right amount. It is absolutely beautiful out there. So I think it's going to be entertaining, and one of those guys that's going to entertain us, Chris Harris, is with Charlie Webster.
Thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, it's a beautiful evening down here at Wolverhampton for the British final. The crowd is brilliant as well. It's a really good atmosphere. The crowd are queuing through the car park, and as Chris said, joining me is Chris Harris, the reigning British champion. Now, Chris, you've won this quite a few times now. You're the reigning champion. You're on the Grand Prix circuit. You're in the world stage. Is the passion still there for you?
Oh, definitely. Still take pride in this competition, and you know, take great pride in being British champion.
Okay, and Scott Nicholls, obviously he's your arch rival. Scott says that almost he concentrates on you too much. Is there a case of you concentrate on him, or is the rest of the riders just as comfortable out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the past that's what me and Scott's both done, probably concentrated too much on each other. But you know, I know and the other 15 riders in this field are all capable of winning tonight, so it's going to be a tough one. But I've won it. I've got the experience, and I know how to do it.
Domestically, you're doing very well. However, on the world stage, it's almost like you said that you'd lost a little bit of pace. Have you changed the performance of your bikes since the last Grand Prix to come here tonight?
No, say for some reason or another, I'm up and down in that department. But you know, the Grand Prix didn't go very well. But the next day in Poland, I scored a few points on the same bike. So it's just one of them things. Get my head around it again.
Thanks, Chris. There's lots of fans rooting for you tonight, so we'll let you go and get ready. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Back over to you, Kelvin and Nigel.
Thanks, Charlie. Yes, Chris Harris has won it 3 times in his career. He's looking for a 3rd straight British title here tonight. He's already assured of a place at the biggest Speedway meeting in the world on June the 25th. But who will join him as wildcard at the Millennium? Cardiff is fast approaching then, the British Grand Prix at the magnificent Millennium Stadium, but here tonight 22 races for the British title and a place at Cardiff as the wild card. Heat number 1 is coming up. Ty Woofenden rides in the red helmet colour, suffered a broken shoulder after a BMX crash.
Yeah.
And a reminder of the format, the top 2 scorers tonight go straight through to the grand final. The next 4 go into a race-off to join the finalists, Kelvin.
Yep, and should be action-packed, all 22 races here this evening. A superb-looking lineup for Heat 1 here, with Woofenden off the inside. David Howe on the outside, now riding for Scunthorpe, but rode here for an awful long time. He could spring a surprise right from the get-go.
Ty Woofenden going off the inside for Wolverhampton, gate 2 from Eastbourne. Lewis Bridger. Daniel King from the Birmingham Brummies off gate 3 in white, and from the Scunthorpe Scorpions, David Howe.
Yeah.
Former Wolves rider, as you say, Kelvin, going off the outside. It's the standard format, 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third, nothing for finishing last. 5 rides each. Lee Richardson watching on. He could be good value tonight for a tilt at the British title as well.
He's certainly good enough, and it's a surprise he hasn't won one. Woofenden on the inside. How's he going to cope tonight?
Dave Dowling with his finger on the button. They're away first time. Woofenden hits that first turn beautifully. Now will his shoulder hold up on the tight turns of Montmore. He's pulled well clear and coming through. Lewis Bridger in the blue helmet colour. Daniel King is in white. David Howe struggling at the back, to be fair.
Backed up.
He did get hurt yesterday on a grass track injury with his fingers and was struggling ahead of this meeting. But Ty Woofenden looking good here, Kelvin.
Yeah, textbook stuff from Ty Woofenden. A classy start from the inside. Right round the inside. He knows his place like the back of his hand. Bridger was forceful on the first lap. On the back wheel, surging through into second place on the first turn. He's chasing hard, but Woofenden looks classy in front and smooth.
And we're on board with Lewis Bridger. He's closing in on Woofenden. He's really having a real go at Ty Woofenden here. Woofenden who missed this meeting last year because he failed to qualify, and he needed a wild card to get into this meeting tonight because of that shoulder injury. He missed his semi-final, but he's going to open up in style.
Yeah.
Ty Woofenden gets the victory. Lewis Bridger second spot for him. Daniel King was third. David Howe didn't finish the race. I wonder if that's mechanical problems or his finger injury, which is making it impossible for him to ride. Look at him. He's in a lot of discomfort there.
He is indeed, and there's no question about it that when you break a hand or you have something wrong with your fingers, it's extremely difficult, all the vibration up through the handlebars. No such problems for Ty Woofenden. A superb start to his night, clearly not too disadvantaged by that injury. Brilliant opening ride from Woofenden.
Yep, had it under control from start to finish. Lewis Bridger was second, although to be fair, he was closing that gap on Woofenden. Danny King was third. David Howe didn't complete the race. That's the result of heat number 1, and 3 points in the bag for the home favourite.
Yeah, Woofenden was clear here. Absolutely brilliant. Ideal starting position in heat 1. Comfortably into that first corner, and he knows this place well. He knew that he couldn't then go too wide off that inside, and that's where he stayed. Powers down the back straight. We're seeing it once again into the first corner. Textbook stuff. Absolutely textbook out of the top draw. That would have settled his nerves. There we see Danny King, but look at Bridger, who makes a poor start from gate 2. Bridger we're on board with. There'll be some action now coming into that first corner because King swaps in front of him, and then he runs wide, and then Bridger on the back wheel out of the corner and powers into second place down the back straight. Superb camera work for there. Woofenden out in front, classy performance.
Yep, good ride from Ty Woofenden. Let's get some reaction with Chris Louis.
Thanks, Nigel. I got that man with me. Ty, any doubts that you might not be fit or race fit? Put them behind you just then.
Yeah, kind of. It's a bit sore mid-corner, you know, but first race win, let's just keep going, and I just want to enjoy tonight, and you know, it's only hit early back from injury, but I definitely want to win as well.
And riding at 1 will be a help with that injury. The track's graded every time you go out, so that should help a little bit.
Yeah, fingers crossed, not too much water.
You've won a couple of under-21 championships. It'd be nice to add a British Championship senior title to that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely, you know, but like I said, it's a long meeting, there's some good riders here, so we'll see how it goes. So,
good luck, mate.
Cheers.
Well, Ty Woofenden is chasing the double. He's the British under-21 champion this year, and he wants the senior British title to complete the double.
Such a shame he got hurt just shortly after winning the under-21 British Championship earlier this season with the BMX problem, but certainly there looked very impressive. Now, Scott Nichols. This is certainly a rider that is highly motivated to get his crown back, desperately wants to get his 6th championship here this evening and defeat Chris Harris. Scott Nichols on the inside has to be favourite for Heat 2.
Yep, Scott Nichols, 5 times British champion. He'll have one eye not only on the British title tonight, but a place at Cardiff and the World Cup coming up as well, remember, in July. Some big speedway to come here on Sky Sports as Nichols goes off the inside. Jordan Frampton, he goes off gate number 2. Gate number 3 is Oliver Allen, and going off the outside, Stuart Robson, who doubles up between the Newcastle Diamonds and the Lakeside Hammers, and he likes this track, Robson.
He does, yeah, and he has a good record in the British Championship, and certainly for a rider that often you see down at reserve, doubling up with the Premier League, he's been 2nd and 3rd in this championship in recent seasons, so he could be a bit of a spoiler, particularly if he gets off to a bright start. But got to say, on paper, looking at Heat 2, Scotty Nichols on the inside, certainly a red-hot favourite for me.
Yeah, Nichols, who made that winter move to Swindon Robbins, and it was always going to be a tough task to replace Lee Adams at Swindon, but he's done a pretty solid job, and good to see a good crowd here enjoying their speedway at Wolverhampton's Monmore Green Stadium and the British final here tonight. Lots on the line, lots to go for. This is race number 2. And away from the start, it's a good one from the inside, and Scott Nicholls in the red helmet colour. Now, coming around in the white helmet is Ollie Allen. Well, Ollie Allen, a late replacement in this meeting for Ben Wilson, and Scott Nicholls working hard in second place right now. This is good Speedway. Robson nipping through as well.
No.
Nicholls is in a bit of trouble here.
Indeed he is. He pulled a massive blocker in the first turn. Robson up the inside, gives Oliver Allen a real clown. Surges to the front. Dramatic stuff in Heat 2. Now, Nicholls settles in second place. Robson out in front. Nicholls sets about Stuart Robson out in front. Terrific Speedway for the first 2 laps.
Yeah, Nicholls all over Robson now, and he dives up the inside, wheel to wheel. That's a great move. Now Robson locks up. Robson's coming back for more. This is good Speedway. Nicholls almost parks the bike coming out of that turn. Nicholls has that lead. Second place is Robson. Third place in white is Oliver Allen. Jordan Brampton trailing in the back. But this has been a good race, and Scott Nicholls will be delighted to come through with a victory under his belt.
I'm relieved, Nigel, because he was dead and buried there for a few laps. Certainly taken by surprise by pulling a big locker in the first turn initially to allow Oliver Allen to go around the outside. And then the surprise package, we mentioned it before the race, Stuart Robson gets in on the act and he gets his nose in front. But then the class of Nicholls, he settled, his nerves settled, and he managed to get himself to the front. And he'll be very relieved about that, because that could have been a little bit ugly there, because it got very tight at one stage.
I thought it was going to end in tears
Yes.
at one stage there. Scott Nicholls, the winner. Stuart Robson was second. A great ride from Stuart Robson.
Fabulous, yeah.
Ollie Allen was third, and he was leader of the race, remember, and Jordan Frampton trailing at the back. Wins so far then for Woofington and Nicholls.
Yeah, and initially he makes full use of the inside start, but watch him halfway round the first turn. Massive locker, kills his speed. Oliver Allen then just drifts round the outside and gets himself in front, but doesn't stay there for long, because this man on the outside was the entertainment package for Heat 2. Surges into the first place. At the end of the first lap, how on earth they all stayed up through the first and second corner is quite beyond me. Look at this. They come roaring in here for the second time of asking, and Stuart Robson just gets himself right between the 2 riders and then has a real good go. Got to say that here we see the action there, plenty of contact in between Stuart Robson and Oliver Allen, but Scott Nicholls is patient here and just works his way into the race and gets his nose in front and picks up a very valuable 3 points. Super Speedway in Heat 2, but probably a relieved Nicholls will be down in the paddock.
Down in the pits, here's Charlie.
He certainly is relieved. Scott, a very tough first heat for you. Were you slightly surprised? Can you talk us through the race? We thought you were all going to crash at one point.
Yes, I made a good start, but caught a slippery bit on the first turn, and they came round me, and yeah, I thought there was going to be a bit of an off. I was just kind of being sensible, you know. It's, I want to win every race, but these races just qualifies us all what happens in Heat 22. So, but you know, it's still nice to get the win.
Did you realise how close Stuart Robson was to you?
Yeah, and I saw how close he was to Ollie Allen as well. I thought they were both coming off. So, yeah, I was just, you know, using my head a little bit in that one, not doing anything too silly. I've done enough to get the win, so we'll make some changes and, you know, 5 more like that, and I'll be a happy man.
I spoke to Chris Harris at the start of the show, at the start of the race, and I asked him about you, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. Do you almost concentrate a little bit too much on your arch rival? Have you got to almost get him out of your head and concentrate on racing out here?
I think you've got to concentrate on your own game. I mean, you know, a lot of people are, you know, pinning the title between me and Chris, but, you know, there's some other good boys up for the challenge tonight as well. So for me, I've just got to concentrate on my game. I know if I'm doing my game to the best I can, then I can win.
You've won this 5 times. Are you still as passionate to win it a 6th?
100%, you know. I've got a little girl at home that I want to make proud and be a good role model for, so I want to win as many British titles as I can before I retire.
Make her proud tonight. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Heat 3, Kennett off the inside, Barker off 2, Hall off 3, and Hart going off the outside. Jerome Hart in for the injured Josh Orty, who we wish well. Josh Orty, the young Sheffield and Coventry man who has a broken ankle, and we wish him all the very best. And, well, just looking at this lineup, Edward Kennett and Ben Barker off the inside 2 gates. We saw the odds earlier, Kelvin. Pretty favourable and good value.
Yeah, good value, and certainly 2 fancied runners. Certainly Eddie Kennett was really fired up for this meeting. On the inside!
Heat number 3 it is, Edward Kennett who rides for the Coventry Bees, but Barker, the man in form.
Tough first corner! Eddie Kennett just roared in there and near enough uplifted Ben Barker off his bike, actually penalised himself, got relegated. Look at that, that was a determined first lap of Speedway from Eddie Kenny. That's what the British final's all about. Kenny out in front, Barker charging hard in third place.
Well, Kenny has got the race under control now. Richard Hall is the man in white who rides for the newly reformed Leicester Lions. Great to see Speedway back at Leicester, and Richard Hall in the white helmet is under pressure now from Ben Barker. There's a real battle going to emerge here with just over a lap to go. Edward Kenny has got the race under his belt here, but watch out for Barker in blue. He knows how important every point is here. He's putting pressure on Richard Hall. He's going to try the inside line now, up into that third turn, and that's a fantastic move from Ben Barker. Has he done enough? Yes, he has. Ben Barker with 2 big points, and every point is vital. We're seeing some action here tonight.
That really was tough first corner. Barker just has a little bit of a word with Eddie Kenny as they come off the track. In actual fact, Ben Barker, if he'd gone down there, could well have been a big decision for the referee to have made. How on earth he stayed up was quite remarkable. Both of them literally going right out to the safety fence. Tough Speedway in E3.
What a race that was. Edward Kennett the winner with Ben Barker second, Richard Hall third, and Duran Hart trailing at the back. Race wins so far for Ty Woffenden, Scott Nichols, and now, after 1 or 2 interesting situations,
look at this first corner. Real hard contact going in there. Ben Barker just can't quite slam the door shut. Richard Hall takes full advantage and steams to the front. These 2 boys come roaring in here. Edward Kennett was just not going to be denied going in there. Look how close it was for Ben Barker, nearly going down. We're on board with Ben Barker. He's going to be well out of shape in a minute. Look at that, all over the place. Arms and legs going everywhere. Richard Hall then comes firing through to the front. Good stuff from Edward Kennett round the outside. Certainly he then works very hard and clears off out in front. The man who had to work extraordinarily hard to make sure he goes through the second place was Ben Barker, and he does indeed.
Plenty of talking points so far. Here's Chris Louis.
Yeah, there certainly is some fantastic scraps out there already. Just 3 races gone. And Eddie, that was a fabulous ride, but you're pretty tough in the first turn there. You meant that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's an important meeting for me tonight, and didn't make the best to start, so I had to push my way through pretty hard. But you know, you're out there to race at the end of the day, and you know, I wanted to win, so it meant a lot. You know, have a good start, and I feel good.
Yeah, the first race is always important. It sets the tone for the rest of the night, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You know, and probably go back and make a few changes to the bike, but you know, I feel good.
Second in 08, second in 09. Be nice to go one better.
Yeah, that's it, but it's still a long way to go yet.
Is it about the wild card, or is it about being British champion for the first time?
It'd be nice to be British champion for the first time, you know, but obviously I'd love to still get to Cardiff.
Good luck with the rest of the night. Thanks, Eddie.
Cheers.
Lee Richardson, who we've seen with Lakeside on fine form this season so far, very, very capable of winning this title. Chris Harris, the reigning champion in blue, now of the Bellevue Aces, of course, and a regular Grand Prix rider, Great Britain's only regular Grand Prix rider, which is a sad state of affairs that Great Britain only got 1 rider in the GP.
Indeed it is, and Chris has had a tough start to this year. He's moved clubs away from the Coventry Beast, was riding out of his skin at the end of last year, both domestically and internationally, but this year so far has failed, hasn't quite hit top form, but maybe tonight he can turn things around.
Here's the lineup then for heat number 4 going off the inside. Lakeside's Lee Richardson, gate 2 in blue is Chris Harris, 3-time British champion. Ricky Ashworth, who we saw last Tuesday in that excellent Premier League meeting at Somerset, riding for Sheffield, is off gate 3. And Lee Lanham going off the outside in the yellow helmet, riding for the Newport Wasps this season. This is heat number 4, and it'd be interesting, Richardson and Harris off the inside 2 gates here.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who prevails.
It will be. Lee Richardson renowned for his sharp starting, Harris not. Certainly he's a bit hit and miss away from the tape, so plenty of pressure on the reigning champion coming into his opening ride. Lee Richardson, I get the feeling that, you know, he's got 1 or 2 issues going on. He's not going to ride for Great Britain in the World Cup, but this is an opportunity. Hasn't won the British Championship in his long career so far. Would love to get to the British Grand Prix as well, I'm sure. So if he can get off to a good start tonight, could be a danger man.
He's scored plenty of points in the World Cup for Great Britain. He's been a finalist at Cardiff before now. He's got the pedigree. This is a big heat number 4 and away from the start. Richardson's made a good one, but what about Harris? Beautifully done from Chris Harris. And now in yellow, Lee Lanham coming around the outside of Richardson. Richardson holds the inside line. The lead is with Harris. Richardson now swoops underneath for second place, and Lanham comes back for more. Ricky Ashworth at the back, but Lee Lanham riding out of his skin here.
Fantastic stuff. You've got to say Lee Richardson there just made a small mistake, and Lee Lanham was ready to pound. What a start to tonight from gate 2 from Chris Harris, from the champion. Out in front, looking superb, really means business. Lee Lanham certainly riding an absolute stormer in second place. Lee Richardson will be disappointed with this.
Well, this is a type of track that suits Lee Lanham and Lee Richardson because they are small track specialists, remember. Lanham just about holding off Richardson. Excellent race for second place. Richardson is going wide into the dirt. Down the back straight now, it's wheel to wheel. Great ride from Lee Richardson. Gets the better of Lee Lanham. And remember, every point could be vital in the race for the British title. It's all about getting through into the top 6 to ensure that you progress to the latter stages of tonight's event. Massive ride from Chris Harris.
Yeah.
We wondered how he'd progress. And he answered us emphatically there with a wonderful ride, Kelvin.
Very impressive ride from Chris Harris. Comfortable out in front. Probably the most comfortable winner so far out of the first 4 rides. That's ominous for the opposition. Did it easily. Away from the tapes, hit that first corner and cleared off.
Super Speedway here at Wolverhampton. Chris Harris the winner with Lee Richardson second. Lee Lanham was third. Ricky Ashworth trailing at the back there. Wins so far for Woffington, Nichols, Kennett and Harris.
Well, Lee Richardson can't take advantage of that inside gate, and it's Harris. Harris makes an absolute blinder away from gate 2, and Lee Richardson gets sucked into the melee there down in turns 3 and 4. Looking at Harris again, an absolutely textbook start away from gate 2. He'll be delighted with his start tonight, particularly when he's not really sure what sort of performance he's going to get from himself. Here we see the initial overtaking. Right in the middle of that corner there, clearly Lee Richardson just spun up, got himself in no man's land, and Lee Lanham slips into second place. He then had to work extremely hard, and finally he gets himself into second place. A tough ride for Lee Richardson, but excellent for the champ.
As I said earlier, Woffington, Nichols, Kennett and Harris winners so far. Bridger, Barker, Robson and Richardson on 2 points apiece, and rider number 13, David Howe, there has withdrawn with that finger injury, as I suspected, so no more David Howe tonight. We wish him all the very best in his recovery after that nasty injury sustained on the grass yesterday. Good. And that, of course, is the British Grand Prix on the 25th of June. Kelvin, 4 races so far, and we were saying during the break there, terrific start.
Yeah, we've been really enjoying ourselves so far. Certainly the riders have been very, very physical, clearly highly motivated to do something special tonight. And yeah, the first 4 races, excellent stuff.
Chris Harris sent a message to his rivals with that ride, I thought.
He did indeed, and what was impressive about that was the fact that he had a really top quality performer on the inside of him, made absolute mincemeat of him, flew out of gate 2 and won the race in fine style. Probably the best time of the night so far. So Harris here means business, and certainly he said that he's a proud man. He will not give up his title lightly tonight, Nigel.
No, he can afford a smile. To be fair, he wasn't smiling a lot in Prague at the last Grand Prix, where he struggled to 3 points. And Denmark coming up this Saturday, Copenhagen, the Parken Stadium, the Danish Grand Prix. Looking forward to that.
He has good memories of Parken, of course. He was on the rostrum there last year, and there was a little bit of grip about. I think the key for Chris is he needs a bit of dirt. Certainly in Prague there wasn't much of that, but certainly here this evening, an excellent track, and so far so good for him.
Yep, good stuff so far. Heat number 5 is where we're at. Lee Lanham, who was good value in his opening ride. He was good entertainment when he was mixing it with Lee Richardson, ended up with just 1 point to his name. A reminder, if you've just joined us here at Wolverhampton tonight, 16 riders doing battle for the British title, and the way it works is that the top 2 scorers after 5 rides each go straight through to the final, and the next 4 go into a race-off to try and reach the final. So, heat number 5 is here. Lee Lanham going off the inside in red. Gate 2 is a race winner, Ty Woffington of Wolverhampton. Also a race winner off gate 3 in white, Scotty Nichols of Swindon Robbins. And from the Leicester Lions, great to be able to say Leicester again, he goes off the outside in yellow, Richard Hall. Ty Woffington carrying that shoulder injury, but a good win first time out, Kel.
Yeah, impressive first time out, was sharp away from the tapes, as was Nichols, but Nichols just was a little bit uncomfortable on the opening lap and had to work a bit harder than he probably would have done. But all 4 of these riders had good opening rides, good competitive Heat 5.
Heat 5 it is then, as the sun beats down here at Monmore Green. Lovely start from Ty Woffington in the blue helmet colour. A jet-propelled getaway. Scott Nichols working hard to come through into second place now. And there's a battle on with Richard Hall at the back. Lee Lanham is third right now, but Ty Woffington has the lead. And it'll be good news for Great Britain if he can recapture the form we know he's so capable of. Just ahead of that World Cup. He's a determined young man, Woffington.
Oh, look at him go, Nige, out in front. Brilliant start away from gate 2. Nichols charging hard, but has no answers. Look at the youngster go. He is clearly, he's definitely not 100% fit, but he is flying out there. Really silky smooth. Looking $1 million out in front.
Yeah, real battle for third at the back as well. Richard Hall is in yellow. Lee Lanham is in red, and Lanham comes up the inside. Every point vital. Lanham on now. goes down Richard Hall. He's hit the fence, and they're in the last lap, and Dave Dowling puts the red lights on. Got a decision to make here. Dave Dowling, he's got a decision to make.
Ty Wolverhampton will not want that rerun. He had that in his back pocket. Certainly there was contact between Lanham and Richard Hall as they came in to start the last lap. Well, we're hearing that the race will be awarded, which is the right decision. I hope Richard Hall is okay. He slipped off there. There was a little bit of contact, but Lee Lanham had the run on him going into the first turn rather, for the last time.
Yes, Dave Dowling, the referee, awarding the result here. Here's the incident. Talk us through it, Kelvin.
Lanham just had the run coming off the previous turn. The bottom end is where the real, he got the momentum. As they come up there, Lee Lanham just comes roaring in there. There is a little bit of contact, and it unsettles Richard Hall, and he slips off. No real intent there from Lanham. It's the British final. Desperately wants to do well tonight, and he goes down.
We are awaiting confirmation of the result. It will be a win for Wolverhampton with Nichols second, but we are awaiting the decision as to who has got third place. Who has he excluded? The race is awarded with a win for Wolverhampton and second place Nichols in heat number 5. The man who went down is Richard Hall. He is the man who is excluded, so Lee Lanham gets a point.
Yeah, no surprise there. Lanham did have the run on him, and unfortunately Richard Hall just comes off second best there. Got a feel for him, but a good race at the back there for the solitary point. But what I was excited about was Ty Wolverhampton, how impressive he was when you consider how far he beat Scott Nichols and how little racing the young Englishman has done in the recent weeks. Only 3 meetings in the last 7 days. Prior to that, nothing. So that was an excellent start. 6 out of 6, you can't do better than that.
Yep, looked pretty quick, Ty Wolverhampton. Just to confirm the result then, Ty Wolverhampton the winner, 6 points out of 6 for him now. Scott Nichols is on 5 points out of 6 now. Lee Lanham was third, and Richard Hall excluded for causing the stoppage of the race. The race was in the last lap, and therefore Dave Dowling has awarded it.
Yeah, this is sensational stuff. Look at that, absolutely textbook again. 2 starts from gates 1 and 2 for Wolverhampton, absolutely superb. Nichols sets about him, but has no answers. You have to say that not just did Ty Wolverhampton make an excellent start here, he puts 4 perfect laps together here and goes further and further away. Absolutely superb performance from him. Coming into this meeting with no real expectations. A great start for him.
Tops the table on 6 points from 2 rides. Nichols on 5. But so far, the race winners, Kennett and Harris, still unbeaten from 1 ride apiece. A reminder, David Howe has withdrawn with that finger injury sustained yesterday on the grass track. We see Edward Kennett here up against Chris Harris, and they were teammates last year at Coventry, as was Lewis Bridger, who's in white. This year, Harris rides at Bellevue, Kennett stayed at Coventry, and Bridger's back at Eastbourne. Should be a good race, this one.
Yeah, and Ollie Allen, you know, he's got quality at this level as well. You can't rule him out. He's doing a decent job for the Kings Lynn Stars this year, back in the Elite League. And he looks like he's here to do something. So, but yeah, Harris, it's a really impressive first time out. Kennett, very forceful, of course. Could have come and stuck with Ben Parker in that first corner, roared in there, but a tasty looking lineup again.
Yep, Harris and Kennett unbeaten off the inside gate. 2 gates here. And good to see Neil Middleditch, the Great Britain team manager, who will be the most interested man on tonight's lineup. He led Great Britain to a 2-0 series victory over Australia in the test matches last week, and now he's formulating his plans for the World Cup squad. Good news last week, where Harris and Nichols went public and said they will play some part in the World Cup, which is good news. Harris goes off the inside here in red. Eddie Kennett goes off gate 2 in blue. Lewis Bridger, gate 3 in white. He'll be in the mix, that's for sure. And Ollie Allen, who's done a good job, as you said, Kelvin, for Kings Lynn this season. He's off the outside in yellow, and great to see Kings Lynn and Birmingham making such a big success of their move up into the Elite League.
Yeah, that really is good news, particularly Kings Lynn. They lie second in the league, and they've got an attractive team. It's a superb racetrack. We've been up there a couple of times already, and it's been entertaining stuff. Edward Kennett, he was entertaining in his first ride, the way he surged into that first corner. A big race on here against Chris Harris, though.
Yep, heat number 6 it is then. Harris made a beauty in his first ride, and Kennett has got the drop in that first turn. Harris is second. Coming hard around the outside is Ollie Allen, though, in yellow. Harris now will hold second place. That was an impressive start from Edward Kennett off gate number 2 in the blue helmet colour. Kennett has that lead. Chris Harris is second. Coming through into third now. Lewis Bridger battling away with Oliver Allen.
Yeah.
All very tight at the back. 2 races in one here.
Indeed there is, and Chris Harris is setting about Eddie Kennett. He's got speed. No doubt about it, he's got speed. He turns back up the inside. Swings to the front after Kennett had made such an impressive opening lap and a half. Harris in a class of his own so far. He hits the front. Lewis Bridger now is settled in third place with Allen out the back. But Harris looking really strong.
Absolutely, Kelvin. Couldn't agree more. Chris Harris absolutely flying here. Edward Kennett looks to be in control of the race, but Harris has picked him off, sweet as you like. And it's 2 wins out of 2 for the reigning champion, Chris Harris, in the red helmet colour, riding for Bellevue this year, and a regular Grand Prix rider, Britain's only full-time Grand Prix rider. And again, some entertaining speedway there.
Brilliant stuff from Chris Harris. Had to work harder that time because Eddie Kennett was electric away from the tapes, and Harris got balked in that first corner. But he didn't panic. He showed his class, he showed his experience at this level, and wound it on, and then turned back up the inside and fired himself to the front. Harris means business.
Certainly does. And there's the result. Harris the winner with Edward Kennett second. Lewis Bridger was third. Ollie Allen at the back. 2 races in one there. One at the front, one at the back.
Superb stuff initially there from Eddie Kennett. He leaps off the start and clamps him down and then runs it wide and down the back straight. A little bit untidy, but certainly at this point he's roaring away. We're on board with Lewis Bridger as they come to the first corner. Bridger once again made a poor start. He's out the back. Harris pulls the big locker there and gets it right down on the line. He leaves himself vulnerable, but has the composure then to get himself well and truly involved. Really impressive overtake this, up the inside, as sweet as you like. Eddie Kennett had no answers for him, and once he hits the front, he pulls away. Good stuff from the champion.
Let's get some reaction to the action with Chris.
Thanks, Nige. Chris, 2 wins, perfect start to the defence of your title.
Yeah, definitely. Made an okay drop there, but I just lifted a little bit, and Eddie managed to get across us. But chasing down for the laps and wore him down and got past him in the end.
You've only got one thing on your mind, that's the British Championship. The other guys perhaps thinking about the wild card as well.
Yeah, definitely. They got 2 things to go for, and I've just got that title that I want to keep, and you know, hopefully that will come true.
You've been suffering with a few back problems and an eye infection, but all that behind you now. I mean, certainly tonight you're looking very fast, very composed.
Yeah, it's all fine now. Just get my head sorted now and winning races. So that's the plan.
Great stuff. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Heats number 7 coming up. Before that, though, this is the latest standings. Woffington and Harris, 6 points apiece from 2 rides, and Eddie Kennett and Scott Nichols on 5. So a pattern emerging, as we expected. The big names right up there, Kelvin.
Yeah, they are. Obviously, it's early days, but certainly no surprise to see those names at the top of the table. 1 or 2 riders just finding it a little bit difficult, but certainly Chris Harris and Ty Woffington are the impressive duo at this stage.
Heat number 7 it is then. Ben Barker going off the inside in red, 2 points to his name. The same applies to Lee Richardson off gate 2 in blue. Gate 3, Jordan Frampton in the white helmet, and Danny King goes off the outside in yellow. Good to see Danny back on a bike, because he did crash in Poland and had a vertebra injury. Thankfully, it was just slightly chipped, because there were fears at one stage as though it might have been broken. But thankfully, Danny, who rides just down the road here at Birmingham this season, is okay. He's back on a bike and doing the business.
Yeah, and he's the type of rider that's a streaky rider. You know, when he hits form, he really is very fast and can make some superb starts and beat nigh on anybody. But so far he's found it difficult. Lee Richardson struggled in his opening ride, had to work awfully hard for his 2 points. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 little changes to his setup for his second ride now.
Right, heat number 7 it is then. Should be a good one. Always fireworks when Ben Barker's around. He's off the inside gate in red and hitting that first turn. It's all very tight. Barker's going to go out wide, and now Richardson reads him and tries to clip up the inside. Watch out for the man in yellow. Danny King coming hard up the inside as well. This will be a good race now. Watch out for Richardson. Clever move by Lee Richardson. Up the inside he goes. Barker goes wide. Now Barker's coming back for more down the back straight. Great speedway here in the British final.
Fantastic stuff. Lee Richardson then slams the door shut and manages just to hang on out in front. Hard first corner for Ben Barker. Surged up the inside and pushed Lee Richardson very wide. This is more like it from Richardson. I'm sure they must have made some changes, but Ben Barker's riding an absolute stormer. Right round the inside. He's not taking it lying down.
Absolutely, Richardson has that lead, but Barker is pushing it hard. Barker, who rides for the Plymouth Devils in the Premier League and the Birmingham Brummies in the Elite League and for Great Britain, and he's pushing hard, but Richardson's done enough, and it's a good ride from Lee Richardson, but Kelvin, he needed all his experience.
I'll tell you
there.
what, it's not a comfortable experience racing against Ben Barker, I can assure you that. Looking at that, every moment of every race, he is giving 100%. first corner was tough from Barker, shoving everybody wide. And then even though Richardson thought he had the race under control, Barker kept battling right to the checkered flag. Good speedway once again in the British Championship.
Terrific stuff here. It's really entertaining here tonight. Lee Richardson, the race winner. Ben Barker was second. Danny King was third. And Jordan Frampton trailing in at the back. Jordan Frampton finding life tough on the big stage tonight. But Lee Richardson needed all his years of experience to see off Ben Barker.
Look at this first corner. Barker straightens up, goes straight across in front. Danny King then switches back to the inside. Richardson then gets himself relegated to third place. He takes care of Danny King pretty quickly. But then it's a really good move then from Lee Richardson to get up into second place. Brilliant stuff from him to get into second place. Down the back straight, we're on board. Ben Barker there, seeing Lee Richardson slip up the inside. Goes very wide, and you thought for a moment that Barker might be able to replay the compliment down the back straight, but then Richardson slams that door shut going into turn 3. Good speedway once again. Richardson will be happier now.
Let's hear some reaction from Charlie in the pits.
Thank you. Lee, Kelvin made a little comment about Ben Barker. We've watched him ride before. He can be a little bit hairy sometimes. Were you a little bit worried?
No, not really. He obviously came across me in the first turn, but there's a bit of a bump there, so he didn't mean to do that, but then I passed through him, which is good. But the track's quite heavy on the outside, so I was a little bit, the bike was a little bit flat then, but I think he'll be all right for the next couple of races when the track slickens off a bit.
You didn't seem quite on the pace in your first heat, so what changes did you make for the second?
We changed the sprocket on the back. I didn't feel quite enough speed in the first one, but it was difficult because obviously you have to overwater it a bit because it's hot and we've got a lot of races today, so it was a little bit spinny and inconsistent to start with, so I flattened the bike off a bit. It worked better, but I've got a bit of a gap now, so I've just got to keep an eye on what's happening with the track.
You've been such a stablemate and a talisman in British Speedway, however you've never won the title. How important is it for you tonight to win the title, or you also want to go to the Grand Prix too? Yeah,
I mean the most important thing is to win the British Championship. It's something that's eluded me over the years. I've come close a couple of times and I've missed a few through injury, but it'll be something nice to win here, especially here because it's my nemesis, so it'll be nice to win it here, that's for sure.
I'll see what you can do tonight. Thanks, Lee.
I'll try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Massive prize, the wild card at Cardiff, but they all still desperately want to win the national title. There's no doubt about that. Woffington and Harris sat on 6 points apiece with Kennett and Nichols and Lee Richardson all on 5, Ben Barker on 4. A reminder, it's all about getting into the top 6. The top 2 go straight through to the final. The next 4 go into a race-off to qualify for the final. Heat number 8 is coming up. There is a change here. There's no David Howe. He's withdrawn with that finger injury. Local teenager Ashley Morris will take his place. Ashley, who's 17 years of age and rides in the National League for the Dudley Heathens, and he goes off the inside gate, and we need young riders like Ashley and his fellow reserve tonight, Tom Perry, to come through and emerge. Morris off the inside, Robson off gate 2 in blue, Duran Hart's off gate 3, and Ricky Ashworth going off the outside. It's fair to say, I think that Ashley Morris may just find it a little bit too tough tonight, but the experience will do him good.
Yeah, absolutely, no question about that. He'll be enjoying this moment for sure, but Stuart Robson's the man who can take full advantage right now.
Heat number 8 it is, and away from the start, and it's a good one for Robson. Your prediction is correct, Kelvin. Robson looking good, but Ashworth coming around the outside. Ricky Ashworth in yellow, but Robson holds the line, and Morris is on the pace in red. At the back now, is pushing hard after Duran Hart, but the lead is with Stuart Robson, and that was an excellent first lap from Robson because he was under severe pressure from Ricky Ashworth, Kel.
Well, he still is, Nigel. Certainly he made an excellent start, but Ricky Ashworth is beginning to settle on this tight track. Of course, he rides at Sheffield, which is probably one of the fastest tracks in the country. He settles nicely in second place. Stuart Robson doing a good job out in front, taking full advantage of a slightly weaker race, putting himself potentially on the 5 points and well and truly involved in the British Championship.
Yeah, well, he was regarded as an outsider with many experts before this meeting, and he's looking good and looking comfortable here. Stuart Robson in the blue helmet, but the battle here for second place with Ricky Ashworth in yellow, and Duran Hart goes wide and almost lost it there. Ashley Morris very much on the pace, the young man in the red helmet colour, but Stuart Robson of the Lakeside Hammers rides for the Newcastle Diamonds in the Premier League as well, and his promoter from Newcastle, George English, has made the long journey from the northeast down here on official duty to support Stuart Robson and as one of the main organisers of tonight's event. Stuart Robson, the race winner. Second place was Ricky Ashworth. Duran Hart was third, and Ashley Morris trailing at the back. A good ride there, though, from Stuart Robson, who was under pressure from Ashworth.
He makes an excellent start from gate 2. Absolutely pinpoint on the reaction. Initially around the outside, Ricky Ashwood, you just thought for a moment he might get there, but then decides against it and switches to the inside. Stuart Robson, excellent stuff into the first corner. This is ideal for Stuart Robson. Obviously an easier race, but takes full advantage, doesn't make any mistakes. He's on to 5 points, and certainly at this stage of the meeting, he could well be a danger man. Certainly you could never rule him out, but an ideal start. 5 points to his name. Looks good.
Well, Woofenden and Harris on 6th, and a clutch of riders on 5 points apiece. Stuart Robson, Eddie Kennett, Scott Nichols and Lee Richardson. So at the moment, Ben Barker and Lewis Bridger both sat outside the top 6. It's fierce competition, plenty of drama ahead. The fans enjoying it here at the Monmore Stadium. One of these riders here tonight at Wolverhampton will be riding on that track at the Millennium Stadium. It's the British Grand Prix, round 5 of the World Championship. If you're not going to the Millennium Stadium, you can join us here. Sky 3D is available that night as well. 4:30 Saturday, June the 25th. Kelvin, it's something special at the Millennium Stadium, and every one of these riders, we know Chris Harris will be there, but every other one of these riders will be desperate to get there.
Yeah, they will be, and it's a wonderful event. Looking back at those footage there of Tony Richardson winning back in 2001, it's incredible how the time has flown, but every year it always brings up marvellous performances. The atmosphere, if you haven't been, you need to go, because the atmosphere in the Millennium Stadium is second to none, and it is just absolutely extraordinary. And every time a rider of Jason Crump's quality, Nicky Pedersen and Richardson while he was riding, they all couldn't wait to get there, and they all wanted to win that Grand Prix.
Well, these are the standings tonight after 2 rides each. We know Chris Harris will be at Cardiff, but who's going to join him?
Yeah.
It's all very tight to predict at the moment.
So far, Woofenden looks like the top man to me. He's looked absolutely superb in his first 2 rides, but it's going to be crunch time as the track changes and who adapts to it. But the young Englishman, who's been out injured for an awful long time, has looked wheel perfect in his first 2 rides so far.
Well, heat number 9 is coming up then, the 3rd round of rides for each rider. Top 6 go through. Remember, in the Grand Prix, it's top 8, so you're looking at probably 9 points in the GP, but you're probably maybe going to need double figures to get through in the British final. Ollie Allen goes off the inside in red, Ricky Ashworth gate 2 in blue, gate 3 is Ty Woofenden, unbeaten so far, and Ben Barker going off the outside in yellow, so probably 10 points would get you through to the top 6.
Could do, could very well do there. Chris Harris there just having a good look on. Certainly the inside 2 gates have been absolutely superb so far. Hopefully Ty Woofenden can't see our graphic, because he may just ride straight back to the paddock if you could see that, because no wins out of gate 3. But got to say that he's been classy so far. Can he do it now from gate 3?
Yeah, Ty Woofenden won't worry about gate stats. It's all very tight in that first turn, and Woofenden's gone down. And, well, that's an awkward landing, and the red lights are on straight away. And it's the shoulder that he actually broke. Woofenden has landed on his left shoulder there.
And that's always the danger when you're carrying an injury. Whenever you have any contact, you always give the injury a good clout, and clearly he has there, and he's in a certain amount of discomfort. He's back early. There's no doubt that the doctor reckoned he should be out for another couple of weeks, but I've got to say, he doesn't quite get away cleanly here, and he's the meat in the sandwich. He gets a clout from Ricky Ashwood and then one from Ben Barker on the outside, and he goes down, and I just fear he will be feeling the full effects of that. All four back, which is the right decision. Let's just hope that Woofenden isn't too knocked about.
Didn't quite make the start there, so it all got very
That's the damage
together.
there. That goes right on his left shoulder, exactly where he's broken it when Ashworth comes roaring in there, and that's always the way. And certainly he gets up. Fortunately, the air fence cushions the blow somewhat, but the blow was done before he even got off the motorbike.
So we are going to have a restart with all 4 riders, but Woofenden is still having treatment down on the track. Chris Harris is down there watching over him as well. And he's obviously, I mean, before the meeting, Woofenden told me that the doctor said 8 to 12 weeks he should be off a motorbike. He's only been off it 6 weeks. So he's back early, and he was in discomfort anyway. And when you land on that shoulder, it's going to be a major concern. Let's hope that he can go back in the rerun, and let's hope that he can take his place in the meeting for the rest of the evening, because we want to see the strongest possible lineup in the grand final tonight, Kelv.
Yeah, we do, but I've got to say the signs don't look good. You've got to say Ricky Ashworth doing nothing wrong. He comes roaring across there. Unfortunately for Wolverhampton, doesn't get away cleanly that time and just gets squeezed going in the first corner and has a really good push on that left shoulder before he even gets off the bike. And clearly it's hurting him. It's damaged, it's vulnerable, and unfortunately it's hit right on the sore spot.
We'll update you on Ty just as soon as we can. And let's head down to the pits and Chris Louis.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, I've got Team GB manager Neil Middleditch with me. Neil, first of all, what a fantastic meeting so far. The most competitive British final we've seen for many years.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic, isn't it? 'Cause you've got that carrot at the end of the Millennium Stadium place. So, yeah, the boys really want it, which is nice to see.
Having said that, I think the guys are all just looking at the British Championship at the moment. They really want to win it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So it's really got some clout in it now, hasn't it? Whereas it's sort of lost a bit of its power, if you like. But now it's really, really a meeting that they want to win.
And obviously concerns in that one for Ty Wolfenden. He's gone down. He's already carrying that injury, we know, to his shoulder, but hopefully he's going to be OK.
Yeah, that's right. That's a big concern there. Saw him holding it, as you say, and so hopefully he's OK and just getting his breath back.
And the meeting so far really going to the form book. Lee Richardson's out there looking good. Chris Harris has been superb so far. Scott Nichols. Stuart Robson perhaps a surprise. A lot of people tipped him before the meeting as a possible, wild one out there.
Yeah, that's right. Robbo's a good rider. He really fights hard. But as you say, I think the main contenders are out there all flying for the title, aren't they? So, yes, it's going to be a great meeting towards the end.
And obviously the prize, as you spoke about, the big prize, Cardiff, the Millennium Stadium, fantastic event and an experience that everybody wants to get out there and feel. But there's also the World Cup, possible place in that too.
Yeah, well, they're here tonight, aren't they? Let's face it, my World Cup squad's probably here tonight, and I think a thinking man can probably pick it for me. But to say, I'll announce it in a couple of weeks.
It's nice to be in a position where you can't be 100% sure of your team, though.
No, that's right. But there's riders out there. Everybody's pushing for a place, and that's really what I want to see, rather than sort of the team automatically picks itself. But as I say, the team's here tonight.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay, cheers.
Well, we see Ty Wolfenden make his way back to the pits area. Let's hope that we're going to see Ty back in action very shortly. Obviously,
sure
in a lot
that.
of discomfort there with that shoulder.
I tell you what, I'll be quite concerned with that, the way he's walking back there. I would say that it's touch and go whether he's going to be physically fit enough to be able to take his place in the rerun.
He's going to give it a go. Let's hope that he can come through unscathed.
It's a difficult call now, isn't it? Because does he continue to ride, and if he damages it further, then of course he'll be out for longer. But such an impressive start to tonight with 2 consecutive wins. Really did look wheel perfect, and you have to say that probably as classy as Chris Harris in the early races, certainly so far. But it is always the way it goes when you're carrying an injury. It can be in the most awkward spot, but you always give it a clout when you go down.
He lost weight in the winter, trained hard when he went to Australia in the winter, lost weight. He was up for a big season, and it's such a shame that it's been put on hold like this.
It is, because we saw him early doors, didn't we? And he looks fit, certainly at least a stone lighter, which is a good effort from him. And there's no doubt that the boy's got a lot of talent. Last year he wasn't enjoying himself, found it all too much, I would suspect. You know, the death of his father and then the Grand Prix all became too much, but refocused this season and just bad timing.
There was a time during the winter, he readily admitted in the media, that he thought about his Speedway future because he wasn't enjoying it last season. And at the end of last season, he went to Australia with thoughts about potentially quitting Speedway. But
I think yes, and he's obviously come out and publicly said that. But I suggest that what he did was exactly the right thing to do. Get far away, get some sun on his back, get himself fit, out and about, having a ride. But you know, Wolfenden, there's no question he's a classy rider.
Well, Stuart Robson was an impressive winner of heat number 8. Let's hear from him now with Charlie.
Thank you, Stuart. You came first and a second so far. A lot of chat that you might be the wild card to win this. What do you think about that?
Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? That would be nice. Yeah, just to go to Cardiff, I think, would be a good thing as well.
We were talking about when you're best, which was second, and we were arguing whether it was 2001 or 2002. I think we've got it as 2001. Now, do you think that that's something that you can better?
I'm here to do it. You know, I'm here to win. That's what I've come for, and that's I've been giving it my all to do that, and yeah, that's the target.
What do you think is going to give you the extra edge? I think you're such an exciting rider. Every time we come and watch you, you're one that gives it everything, that's always fighting, and your team always pushing to the top in Lakeside. What do you think will give you the extra edge here tonight?
I don't really know, to be honest. I know this track relatively well. I enjoy it. I seem to have a good setup, so hopefully that'll play in my favour, and a few good gates, and a little bit of good luck would just tip it for us.
We've seen that gates 1 and 2 are working for everybody at the moment. Nobody's had a win of gates 3 and 4. And we've also seen how fast Ty Wolfenden was off the start. Obviously, hopefully he'll be all right with his injury. We've seen how fast Chris Harris has also come off. How competitive do you think this is? Do you think it's more competitive than over the years? We've seen you a lot.
It certainly seems to be this year. Everyone's just gunning for it for whatever reason. I don't know why. There's a lot more closeness in the riders. The last few years recently, there's been sort of Scotty and Bomber have dominated it. And there's a few of the guys, whether the guys have caught up, which I think that is the case, a few of the guys have caught up a little bit, and they haven't quite got it all their own way at the moment. So obviously they're still the ones to beat, but it's going to be interesting with a few of the younger guys like Ben. He's absolutely determined, and he's Wolfie's another one. Obviously, hopefully, as you say, he's okay with his shoulder. So yeah, it should be interesting, this.
Well, best of luck tonight. See if you can get on the podium and win it.
That would be good. Thanks.
Thank you too.
Well, Ty Wolfenden putting his goggles on without using his left arm there. How's he going to control the motorbike, Kelvin?
There's two scenarios here. He's going to go round there, he's going to get into the first corner and realise he can't do it and just pull over, or he may just gently get himself back into the rhythm, complete the race, possibly try and just pick up a solitary point, something like that, and see if he can get himself going. But I tell you what, everything about him since he came off then suggests to me that he is not physically capable of racing the bike properly. I just hope he doesn't do too much further damage. He hasn't even got his left arm on the handlebars. He's riding down to the start. Doesn't look good to me.
Absolutely not. Wolverhampton are at Poole on Wednesday, and then they've got a gap in fixtures. Peter Adams is here tonight, the Wolves team manager, and of course the staging promoter Chris Van Straten. They'll be keeping a very close eye on Wolfenden here.
They've been struggling without him, Nigel, and they could ill afford to lose him again for an extended period. They need him back fighting fit.
Here's the lineup for heat number 9. Ollie Allen off the inside. Ricky Ashworth going off gate 2 in blue. Gate number 3 is not favourable. That was half the problem. He didn't get off the start in the original staging of the race. And Ben Barker going off the outside in yellow. So there's a tough customer on the outside of Wolfenden. Probably the last rider in the world that you want alongside you when you've got a dodgy shoulder is Ben Barker.
Yeah, exactly that. There's not going to be any quarter given here, that's for certain. And certainly Ben Barker, who has his own agenda here, he wants to get to Cardiff, he wants to be British champion. He's not going to give Ty Wolfenden any favours going into that first corner at all. The key here for me is Wolfenden's either got to get away clean and get out in front and show a clean pair of heels, or if he's in amongst the traffic, he needs to be very careful about re-injuring himself, where he has to then take an enforced layoff.
Heat number 9, second time of asking. Barker in yellow, Wolfenden with that dodgy shoulder in the white helmet colour. Off the inside is Ollie Allen with Ricky Ashworth in gate 2 in blue. They're very close together off the outside gate, and Wolfenden jumped the start and has been left that time. Ollie Allen hits that first turn. Ashworth is there second. Barker now coming up the inside. Wolfenden keeping a close eye on the riders in front of him. He'll be in the mix. Wolfenden he'll have a go. He's got round the first turn, and Wolfenden is charging up the inside now. Oh my goodness me! How has Ty Wolfenden managed that?
Brilliant stuff from Ty Wolfenden. Wasn't interested on the start line, but it's settled nicely. He's in the second place. Oliver Allen out in front. Oh, Ricky Ashworth bites the dust down in turns 3 and 4. All of a sudden, Wolfenden realises he can ride the bike, and the red lights have come on. Oh, can't believe it, but I'm delighted to see that. He was circumspect there because he genuinely, obviously didn't think he could ride the motorbike. After a lap, he certainly could, and he came surging through. Let's hope that he can reproduce something similar in the restaging, because it was unfortunate with Ricky Ashworth just coming off the bike. But this is heroic. This is heroic stuff from Wolfenden for sure.
Well, no surprise, Ricky Ashworth is excluded from the restart. It was an awkward landing for Ricky, and let's hope that he's going to be up and about, walking away from that pretty shortly. He's a huge favourite with the Sheffield fans, but he looks in quite a bit of discomfort there, Ricky Ashworth, and fingers crossed that he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he comes roaring in down here on the outside and gets too much grip and then fires himself there. Look, just bounces against the track really hard. It's not the air fence. The air fence does its job, but he clouts the track really hard with his left side there. Too much grip, down he goes hard. Still involved with the motorbike. That's going to be sore. Good to see him up and about, and fortunately, I'm sure he'll be able to take some more rides later on. He's a tough customer, Ricky.
Yeah, he just caught some unexpected grip there, didn't he? And had to get off the bike a round of applause from the fans after Ashworth walks away from that. That's good to see. He's a likeable character, Ricky Ashworth.
Ricky Ashworth. He's a nice guy, and certainly he loves the big, wide spaces of Sheffield. This is a little bit unnatural to him round here, the tight monmore track. So he was always going to find it tough tonight, and certainly in that race there, he full the full effects of bashing against the track in turns 3 and 4.
Yep, good to see him walking back, Ricky Ashworth. He is with Sheffield again this year for a 10th successive season. A very loyal rider.
Woofenden?
Oh.
What about Woofenden? That was so impressive. Made a dreadful start. Actually tried to jump the start. Ben Barker was the one that was struggling there for pace, because there's no question that Woofenden had come charging through. Ben Barker has made a steady start to tonight, but not the sort of start he would have wanted more, of sure. There's no question, but we'll see it again. Woofenden just literally tries to jump the start. He does remarkably well not to touch the tape, so I'll tell you what, that's really good for him, because he's out the back, and once he's gone round this first corner, Nige, he realises, hey, it's okay.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I'm going to be able to do it. So the good fortune is that he didn't touch the tapes, and the referee doesn't have to exclude him, and he'll be back in the rerun to take his place. But certainly that's great news for him, because the way he's been riding tonight, you know, if he can keep it going, he's a threat for the title, no question.
So the moment he got past the first 2 turns,
yes,
that was the defining moment. He knew he was okay.
Absolutely, because when the left handlebar's pulling away from your left shoulder, he clearly didn't have too much discomfort. He has now. This is the worst time, the downtime. But when the adrenaline's running and you're actually flowing around the track, and he's a silky smooth rider, he needs to keep going, because if he gets cold, then he'll really feel it.
It was a BMX ride where he crashed. He missed the jump. He just came short on the BMX bike, and that's what caused the broken shoulder. They thought it was a collarbone initially, but it turned out to be a shoulder injury. And he's using both hands to put his crash helmet on now, so he's feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, and certainly it'll be interesting to see if he uses both hands to put his goggles on. And you've got to say that he was so impressive there. A little bit more room, of course, this time without Ricky Ashworth out there, and that takes that pressure off him going to the first corner. I noticed in the rerun there, he took a very wide position in gate 3, well away from the rider in gate 2, because obviously that contact as he went to the first corner on his left shoulder, he wanted to avoid at all costs. It will be that hustle-bustle later on when the championship's on the line, when that injury and his strength of mind will be tested to the full. No question about that, but so far he's showing a lot of character.
Well, he's super confident now, Kelv, because he's used both arms to put his goggles on.
Fabulous.
So he's super confident now.
Quite important for a Speedway rider to be able to use both arms. And,
really?
Yeah, believe it or not. And haven't seen anybody ride one-handed and win a race yet, so certainly Woofenden, delighted to see him out there. But this is a second chance for Barker as well, because he was certainly, you know, not away that well. And they had to work hard, and Woofenden had the speed.
I remember back in 1977, Peter Collins rode in the Gothenburg World Final with a broken leg. Kenny Carter rode in a British final with a broken leg in the 80s.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was in the wet, and he won that in
Had to be carried on and off the bike, didn't he?
Indeed, he did. That was superb. But hanging on to the handlebars is quite important.
Yeah, great tradition, this meeting. Great names like Kenny Carter, Peter Collins. Great names from the past. Heat number 9, Ollie Allen off the inside in red. No rider off gate number 2, Ricky Ashworth excluded. Ty Woofenden is off gate 3 in white. Ben Barker off the outside in yellow. Let's hope that they can get through the 4 laps safe and sound this time. Seems to be taking forever, this race, Kel.
Yeah, obviously the referee gave Woofenden plenty of time in the initial restart of the race, which was very fair indeed. Clearly they want to see him out. He's a home favourite, of course, and rides here week in, week out. Had an excellent start to tonight's meeting. And in lots of ways, coming into tonight, Woofenden had no pressure, no expectation. All the talk was Harris, Nichols, who's going to do it? But Woofenden, on his night, is more than capable of doing it. He's a world-class rider on his night.
Got one of the wild cards. Josh Shorty got the other, but has suffered a broken ankle. And this is heat number 9. Away from the start, it's a good one off the inside from Ollie Allen. Now what will Woofenden do? He locks up and he's going to put pressure on Ollie Allen. And he's come through the inside. What a ride from Ty Woofenden. Home track knowledge coming to the fore. Superb ride. Ben Barker is in yellow. He's putting pressure now on Ollie Allen as well. Good race again here, Kelvin.
Look at that from Ty Woofenden, so smart on the outside, straight back to the inside. Good stuff going on for second and third. Allen round the outside, Woofenden right down low. May have to allow the bike to run a bit wider. This time he does. He's got such a good racing brain. 2 laps round the inside, now to the outside. I tell you what, Allen's having a go in second place, Nige.
Certainly is, and this would be a tremendous result for Ty Woofenden, because he'd be on 9 points out of a possible 9 and would have 1 foot in the race-off at least. He fancies his chances of going straight through to the final as one of the 2 top scorers. He's looking good.
Brilliant.
Not quite sure how comfortable he's feeling, but he's got the checkered flag, and his momentum has got him through there.
Fantastic stuff there from Woofenden, because he rode, not only did he ride, you know, smart, he rode so clever on the track as well, with going to the inside. He kept the opposition guessing for the whole 4 laps, finally broke the opposition on the last lap, picks up his 3rd win on the night, 9 points out of 9, and considering how uncomfortable he is, that's a sensational effort.
Ty Woofenden the winner, with Ollie Allen 2nd, Ben Barker was 3rd. He'll be disappointed with only a point there, Ben Barker. And Woofenden with that damaged shoulder. It was a superb, intelligent ride.
That's exactly what it was, intelligent riding here, because he doesn't panic in the first corner. Swedish delight down the back straight, doesn't make the start. That's Allen on the inside gate still working very well. Switches back there, brilliant stuff. You've got to say that Allen can't do anything about this move. It's absolutely superb. Down the back straight, hits the front. He then rides round the inside, round the outside, and picks up his 3rd win on the night.
So, win, win, win for Woofy. 9 points out of a possible 9. Chris Harris is on 6, and then we've got a clutch of riders on 5 points apiece. Ben Barker is one of them, but he's ridden 1 more outing than Robson, Kennett, Nichols and Richardson. Let's hear from Woofy with Chris.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, Ty, tough start to the night. 3 perfect race wins, but that one was a real battle going down. Dodgeham's in the first attempt and Ricky Ashworth going down in the second attempt, but got those points in the end.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it's all about, collecting points, getting to a semi or a final. So still a long night yet, but shoulders really hurting. You know, I've had some painkillers and just hope they start kicking in soon.
Certainly using your track knowledge there, though, you knew exactly where you wanted to be. We noticed that you were either riding right on the curb with the grip there, or if you drifted across, you went right over to the fence for the grip on the outside.
Yeah, it's hard being number 1, you know, after all the track grades. I'm not a fan of it, but, you know, let's get on with it. I'm going to change the setup now and hopefully score some more points.
And that was me after your first race saying that maybe the track grading going out after that would be a bonus for you.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes, you know, it works out good sometimes. It just depends on how much water they put down, so we'll see.
OK, well done, Ty, thanks.
Battling through the pain barrier, Ty Woofenden, and Scott Nichols in blue here on a new bike, and Lewis Bridger is on a new bike as well. Nichols on 5, Lee Richardson is in this race as well, he's on 5. Lewis Bridger is on 3 so far, so quite clearly Scott and Lewis not totally satisfied with their setup so far, Kel.
No, Nichols has not looked that impressive. He likes this track and certainly scored plenty of points here on his visit earlier in the season. So, you know, this is the opportunity. He's had a couple of rides, not completely comfortable. The perfect opportunity to try a spare one.
So going off the inside, Duran Hart, a late call up to this meeting in place of Josh Hawty. Gate 2 in blue is Scott Nichols. Gate 3 in white is Lee Richardson, and off the outside is Lewis Bridger. Got to say, I find it a shame that Simon Stead isn't riding in this meeting tonight. Steady, who rides for Swindon in the Elite League, didn't get one of the wild cards. Well, that was a controversial move.
And the wrong decision made, in my view. I think that Josh Hawty, all due respect to him, he had 2 mechanical failures and failed to qualify. Simon Stead was injured and missed out on the British final. He should have been in. He's a World Cup, he's an international rider. Don't understand why he's not here.
Well, Simon Stead could be the type of rider Great Britain need for their World Cup team, and he's not here tonight in the British final. He would have needed a wild card because he had an injury where the muscle or the cartilage had come away from his rib, and it was agonising for Simon Stead. He was out for 6 weeks and he missed the semi-final and has only just come back from injury. So let's hope that if Neil Middleditch wants him, Steady will answer his call. Heat number 10 it is, and away from the start they go, and it's all very tight in that first turn. Nichols has got there in the blue helmet colour. What can Richardson do in white now? Oh, he comes through into second place. That's a good ride from Lee Richardson. Lewis Bridger is third in the yellow helmet, and now Bridger comes up the inside and is putting serious pressure on Lee Richardson. Good Speedway again here in the British final. Nichols has the lead. Bridger and Richardson battling for second.
Indeed they are, and Lee Richardson just about hanging on to second place, but Lewis Bridger is on the outside of him, on the inside of him. You don't know which way it's going to come. Scott Nichols is out in front, not pulling away though, not really, considering how hard Lee Richardson's having to defend with Lewis Bridger all over the back of him. Nichols has made a better start, beginning to break the back of the opposition now, but terrific scrap for second and third until Bridger then falls off.
Well, disappointment for Lewis Bridger, comes to grief and wastes a point as well. And when he's only on 3 from 3 rides, Bridger is running the serious risk of missing out on the race-off. That is a bitter disappointment for Lewis Bridger, wasting a point there, but he's a born trier. But Scott Nichols pulled well clear in the end there, you know. It was an emphatic win in the end, and Scott Nichols now moves on to a total of 8 points out of a possible 9, and he is looking good for a place in the top 6.
He is looking good for a place in the top 6, but I don't think he's devastatingly fast. I'd suggest that Harris and Wolverhampton look like they've got more genuine pace. Nichols knows what it's all about, and he'll keep working hard, but a valuable 3 points nonetheless.
Absolutely right. Confirmation of the result. Nichols the winner with Richardson second. Duran Hart was third after Lewis Bridger fell. And Scott Nichols now very much in contention. He's only dropped 1 point so far, but as you say, Kelvin, didn't look super quick here.
No, it took him a while before he really broke the back of it, particularly when you consider how hard Lee Richardson was having to deal with Lewis Bridger. Here we see it coming off the first corner. Lewis Bridger really was putting it to Lee Richardson. Richardson didn't know whether he was coming underneath him or around the outside of him. Look at that, right up on the curb, and very nearly wipes him out, but he's fair there. There's enough room down the back straight. He then just tries a little bit too hard, comes roaring in on the outside, and certainly gets it all out of shape. There we go, just slips out, he just finds himself in the wrong place.
And that's cost him a point, Kelvin.
Yeah, it's cost him a very valuable point, just trying a little bit too hard. And certainly there we're seeing him on board, but disappointment for Lewis Bridger.
Let's get some reaction to heat number 10 with Charlie.
Thank you. Scott, you went out there on a new bike, but the commentary team did state that you don't seem fast enough out there, despite the fact that you've got 8 out of 9. How would you comment off the back of that?
Yeah, it's the problem with the first bike, it's just not going, and so I changed bikes there, and yeah, I need to make a change of setup. And no, I feel okay on the bike, but I don't feel the quickest. But like I said, all these races go out the window when it comes to the final one. So, you know, if I can get another couple of race wins, go straight through to the final, hopefully by then we'll have it right.
How tough is that first corner? It seems everybody's battling it out.
The first corner is crucial in any race, and especially here, you know. You got to get it right and get out in front, and you know, there's some good track knowledge here, so yeah, it's a case of using your head and having the setup right. So I'll just go back and talk to the boys and do the best we can to get it better for the next race.
All right, go and get change your setup then, and we'll see you in the next one. Get on with the next race. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Heat number 11, the lineup for this one then. Third rider piece for each of these riders. Stuart Robson going off the inside, 5 points from 2 rides so far. Good stuff from him. Leicester's very own Richard Hall off gate number 2 in blue. Gate 3 in the white helmet colour. Daniel King on a new bike here. And Chris Harris, very, very fast, unbeaten, 6 points out of 6, but a test off the outside gate here.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Just took the words right out of my mouth. Certainly will be more difficult to come from the outside. Thanks, Nigel.
Sorry.
Yeah, no race wins from there. That may just change now in a minute and a bit's time. Certainly Harris will be keen to get on with it, but the danger man, Stuart Robson, we've had a chat with him. He fancies his chances. He's come here to win. He's got the best gate, or the second best gate. Needs to take full advantage, but it will not be easy to beat Harris. Harris hasn't got to win this race, of course, to make the top 2 tonight to get through to the final, but he'll want to.
Well, red and yellow we need to watch out for, but what a start from the man in white, Daniel King. It's a fine one for Robson, and it's all very tight down the back straight now. Robson under serious pressure. Oh, what a ride from Chris Harris, and now charging hard around the outside, Danny King. Robson on the pace though still. Good Speedway again in the British final.
Fabulous first lap from Chris Harris, didn't panic, switched to the inside, went from third to first down the back straight. Really was a very classy move indeed, and you've got to say, that Harris, once he hits the front, has got speed. Like Wolverhampton, straight line speed is very impressive indeed. Robson there sitting nicely in second place. He's having a good British final. King's struggling a bit tonight, not amongst the points, and even on his spare bike out there, it doesn't look like he's got quite the right setup. Harris out in front, fast.
Yeah, Danny King putting Stuart Robson under pressure now and looks over his shoulder. King really having one last gasp go in turn 3 and 4, but Harris has got the race under his belt. Great ride from Chris Harris. Second place, Stuart Robson. Third, in white, Danny King. Disappointed for Danny. He's a better rider than 3 points from 3 rides suggests.
Certainly is.
And it's just not happened for him tonight, but there's still time to retrieve the situation in his last 2 rides. But Chris Harris, well, the bike's working for him. He looks fast. I wonder if that's the bike we'll see in Copenhagen on Saturday.
Well, I certainly hope so, because there's no question he's looking really majestic tonight. He's had a couple of performances where he's come from behind, where he hasn't got away. He did it against Kennett earlier on and just swept up the inside, and he passed 2 guys down the back straight on the opening lap. Really impressive stuff from Harris.
Chris Harris the winner, 3 rides, 3 wins. Second place, Stuart Robson, who's now on, what, 7 points. Good effort. Danny King was third, and Richard Hall trailing in at the back. But again, it was entertaining Speedway, Kelvin.
Good stuff, particularly when you've got the class man missing the start. Gate 4 really is very difficult. Bit of a graveyard so far, but the stats will change, of course. Although he didn't actually make the start, he wins the race from the outside. Sweeps to the front down the inside, looking absolutely majestic out in front. The champion looking good.
So, good stuff from Chris Harris then, and here is the league table. Wolverhampton and Harris, 3 rides, 3 wins, 9 points apiece. Nichols is sat on 8, and then you've got Robson and Richardson on 7, Eddie Kennett on 5, but he's got a race in hand here. Bridger outside of the top 6, Danny King outside of the top 6 as well. But there is a pattern emerging here, and the big guns are up there. But Stuart Robson is having a great night, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and we spoke about him. He has a good record in the British final, and he has plenty of elite league experience now, so not frightened by reputations here, and certainly so far so good for him.
Thought Ben Barker and Danny King were 2 riders that maybe do a little bit better, and Bridger as well.
Yeah, Bridger's disappointing. Ben Barker, you've got to say, after his performance at Lakeside in the Test match against Australia, where he top scored, disappointing from him so far. And when it's so competitive, you can't afford to drop too many points, because 10 points we're talking about to make the top 6, certainly going to be tough if you keep dropping them early on.
Absolutely right. There is a change to the lineup here. No David Howe, so his replacement in the blue helmet colour is another local youngster, Tom Perry, who's 17 and comes from Albrighton near Wolverhampton. And again, like Ashley Morris, rides for the Dudley Heathens in the National League.
Boys.
Yeah, another one of my boys in the National League, the Dudley Heathens, who do ride on this track, by the way, as they continue a search for a new track in the Dudley area.
It's terrific for the young Tom Perry to have an opportunity now. I'm sure he'll be relishing it. He'll be nervous, of course.
He was a bag of nerves. I spoke to him earlier.
I'm sure he was, but he'll be, when he drives home tonight, he would be absolutely delighted to have had his first ride in the British final.
Yep, and there are a few Dudley Heathens fans here tonight as well, which is good to see. Lee Lanham goes off the inside, Perry off 2, Kennett off 3, and off the outside, Jordan Frampton. It will be a step too far for Perry and Morris, but the experience will serve them well. Heat number 12 it is, and away from the start they go, and it's a very, very tight first turn, and Edward Kennett has missed it completely. Kennett is third right now, which is a bit of a surprise. Lee Lanham is red,
Frampton.
and Frampton has that lead, which is a surprise.
Frampton out in front. Got to say that Kennett got squeezed out there. Lanham charging hard in second place. Got to say, Jordan Frampton round that first corner was really, really very impressive indeed. Kennett, on paper, must have been looking at this race saying, yeah, this is a race I really need to win. Not quite as strong, but he's back in third place. Or is he? He's now into second place and having to work very hard indeed.
Yep, and he's not quite got second spot. Now Kennett goes hard into that third turn. This is going to be entertaining stuff, because Kennett has got speed now. The lead here is with Jordan Frampton. We're into the last lap. Now Kennett is going to try and go from third to first. Charges up the inside. How hard is he going to push Jordan Frampton? Frampton goes to the fence, hits the fence and comes down. And Edward Kennett has just gone from third to first. And let's hope that Jordan Frampton is going to be up and about and okay, because that was a tremendous effort from Jordan Frampton.
Well, tremendous effort from Frampton, of course, and an even better one from Edward Kennett, who was really having to work extremely hard just to get himself initially into second place. He then literally, the psychological pressure of Kennett charging hard into the last turn on the last lap, was just too much for young Jordan Frampton to cope with. Here we see it. Roaring down there. Kennett allows the bike to run up the inside. Frampton round the outside, just gets himself sucked in there and bashes the air fence, and he goes down. He's not hurt, he's up and about, but got to say that Kennett really was very, very impressive here. Had to work extremely hard. Track slicking off now, much more difficult to find the extra pace. Frampton clips the air fence, down he goes. Kennett's out in front, picks up a very valuable win there, particularly when you consider how hard he had to ride initially to pass Lanham, and then finally in the last corner to get Frampton. Good start.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 races gone. Eddie Kennett, the winner, moves on to 8 points now. Lee Lanham gets 2 points and a point for Tom Perry in the British final at 17 years of age.
Good stuff.
Good on him. Jordan Frampton gifting him that point, of course, it has to be said, but unlucky Jordan Frampton there because he gave us some great entertainment in heat number 12. Kelvin, 12 races gone. Every rider now has had 3 rides apiece, and I'm finding this British final the most enjoyable for a number of years.
Yeah, we've been discussing it. I was thinking about it actually driving here today. All of a sudden the lineup looks much more competitive, and you've got to say there's at least 6, 7 blokes that you would fancy for the title. So far, you have to say that the champion, Chris Harris, even though his form hasn't been great so far this season, really is looking very impressive. Wolverhampton, of course, is right in there, but there are fears about that injury. I just sense when it really comes to crunch time, late on in the night, will he be able to resist a real good charge from somebody in the first corner? But really exciting stuff.
Yeah, great speedway here. So far, Chris Harris and Ty Wolverhampton are on 9 points apiece. They are the clear leaders as it stands in the British final. The top 2 go straight through to the final, and then the next 4 go into a race-off for 2 more places in the final. 2005, what a ride that was from Tony Richardson. I still can't believe how he managed it now, 6 years later. Absolutely brilliant. Live from Monmore Green Stadium in Wolverhampton, we have the 2011 British final. Not only is the national title on the line, we're going to establish who is going to be part of this year's British Grand Prix at the Millennium Stadium as a wild card, because the top finisher, aside from Chris Harris tonight, will go through to the Millennium Stadium on June the 25th. There's the standings. Wolverhampton and Harris currently in the top 2, but Eddie Kennett fought hard to move into the top 6 in his last ride, and he is with Charlie.
Yeah, thank God I've got Eddie with me. Eddie, that was a fantastic ride over there. Explain to us how you came from 3rd to 1st.
I don't know, really. I was sort of trying to make generate more speed around the outside because I didn't make the best of starts, and I managed to sort of cut back on Jordan on the last bend down here and sort of take a good run into 3rd and 4th, and I sort of run him up. You know, it was pretty hard, but, you know, I still left him enough room, but should I say just enough room to get round. You know, but it's so important to me, so I need to take that win.
You're currently in 3rd position. You've only dropped 1 point. Now, every time I've seen you in the pit so far, and every time everybody at home, you've had a massive, massive smile on your face. What's the difference from you this season to last? Because I've noticed a big change.
I don't know, really. You know, considering I wasn't going to probably start Spirit at the start of the year, and it was a bit of a rush to get everything organised, and I don't know, I made a few different changes, and I just enjoy my Speedway. You know, I'm looking forward to jumping on the bike and racing 4 laps and winning races, so I've just got to keep it up.
You've had quite a few second places, and you've always been sort of there and thereabouts when it comes to this British final. Are you going to make the step up? Are you going to win it tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to say, but, you know, of course I want to win it, and but it's still a long way to go for tonight as well, because, you know, Bomber's on fire and Ty as well, and a few of the other boys. So it's going to be tough. Every race is so important, and I've just got to make it a bit easier for myself and make the start.
I spoke to Neil Middleditch a little bit earlier, and he was stood there. He sort of said hello to you, and he's been watching you very closely. He said that you were the most consistent rider of recent times, especially last week. Now, this year, what is it you want to achieve? Have you got one little eye on the World Cup as well?
Yeah, no, being part of the World Cup squad this year would be fantastic, because obviously I wasn't riding that good last year, and Rob didn't put me in. And yeah, that's where I want to be, and obviously do the GP qualifications that I've got coming up, and, you know, I want to really push hard for this year and ride abroad again in Poland, and you know, that's what I really want to do now.
Well, keep that smile. Good luck tonight.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
It was a hard fought last race. This is how he did it.
Yeah.
And had to do it the hard way.
Yeah, it took a while to get the better of Lee Lanham, then surged up the inside, and then young Jordan Frampton just couldn't quite keep his composure there, and just ran too wide and clipped the bottom of the bouncy castle, and down he went.
Bouncy castle.
But
I like it.
yeah, you have to feel a little bit for Jordan Frampton, but Edward Kennett's here and he means business. He's had a couple of tough races. He charged underneath the Ben Barker earlier on, didn't he? And that was a, you know, that means I like that. You know, I've got no issues with that. It's a big night, and he's up for it.
The air fence is coming into its own tonight. It's really protected a couple of riders in particular, and it's not a feature at Premier League level, so riders like Ricky Ashworth and the Premier League boys, they've got the air fence tonight, and that's good to see.
Interesting race coming up, Heat 13. Harris and Woofenden obviously clear favourites here, coming from the outside two gates. I just sense it'll be interesting to see how fast Woofenden is in comparison to Harris. I think the actual jolt when the clutch is dropped for Woofenden is an issue. You know, I think that does shoot a little bit of pain up through that when you've got to really hang on to the bike as it surges to the first corner. But Woofenden and Harris, I think, have been the fastest. Yeah, they have been. Clearly, they have been the fastest two riders on display so far. This will be a nice indication of where they're at, just going head-to-head at this stage of the night.
Good Speedway so far, 12 races gone. 3 rides have been completed by each rider. Of their 5, top 6 go through, the top 2 automatically to the final, and the next 4 into a race-off to try and get into the final. The British champion will be crowned, and the highest placed rider, apart from Chris Harris, who's a regular Grand Prix rider, will get a wildcard slot for the British Grand Prix at the Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, on Saturday, June the 25th. So, the stakes are high, and this is going to be a race to enjoy.
Indeed.
And the lineup off the inside, Jordan Frampton. Gate 2 is Duran Hart. Gate 3 is Chris Harris. And off the outside is Ty Woofenden. The 2 fastest men on the night clash here.
They do, and I was just about to say the fact that the introduction of the wild card slot has really invigorated the British final once again. It was in the doldrums without question. Since the inception of the introduction of the Grand Prix Series, it really has lost a lot of its stature. It's back, and the kudos of being British champion now, and the opportunity to ride in the Millennium Stadium really is something to behold. And that rider there certainly wants to be champion tonight, and of course the opportunity, if he wins, then the place at Cardiff automatically takes care of itself.
Yep, Scott Nicholls still a top performer, no doubt about that. Capable of beating the best riders in the world. Heat 13 it is. British final 2011 at Wolverhampton's Monmore Green. And Woofenden has made a wonderful start from the outside. How on earth has he managed that? And Harris is at the back, and now he's trying to come around the outside of Duran Hart in Heat 13. Second place, Jordan Frampton. Hart almost collides into Chris Harris, and Ty Woofenden is looking super quick here.
Fabulous start from the outside from Ty Woofenden. Just sat very quiet on the motorbike. Didn't know, not too much body language going on at all, and the bike absolutely fired him to the start. He's now winding it on out in front. Harris is stuck way back in third place. Frampton's having another good run in second place, but Woofenden looks like he's set for a 4th win.
Yeah, Ty Woofenden looking very, very comfortable here in that lead. The home rider from Wolverhampton here, and I'm on the Green Stadium into the last lap. Jordan Frampton is second. Chris Harris will really work hard here. He's gaining ground. He knows every point could help him through straight to the final. Harris now is not going to have the pace to get past Jordan Frampton.
Shock.
That is a surprise result.
That is a shock to me. I've got to say that Harris, I thought, would make mincemeat of Frampton there, but Frampton rides a stormer. Out in front, that man, an absolute superstar performance once again. Can he keep it going? Away from the outside, not easily done. Fired himself to the front and won comfortably.
Well, 12 points out of 12 for Woofenden. Brilliant. Jordan Frampton, 2 points for him. Quite a scalp, claiming Chris Harris and Duran Hart at the back. But Harris will still be fairly satisfied because he's on 10 points and looking good still.
I think he'll be frustrated, Nigel. I think that was an opportunity to really put down a psychological marker, and he failed to do so. The man that did was the man who's injured. Out in front, beware the man with one arm. Ty Woofenden's winning races for fun. Out of the start from the outside. That is such a good effort when you consider that he just has to sit so calm on the bike. Doesn't want it to lift too hard because he doesn't want the bike bucking and rearing underneath him. Woofenden, 12 points out of 12. Very impressive.
Yeah, very, very quick. Remember, the British title will be decided in one race. So whatever happens, we've got a last heat decider tonight. It will go down to a grand final. Woofenden, 12 points, looking good. Harris is now in double figures on 10, and you've got Eddie Kennedy and Scott Nichols on 8, Stuart Robson and Lee Richardson on 7. What a ride from Ty Woofenden, who's with Charlie.
Yeah, thank you. I've got Ty. Ty, you look sensational on the bike, you look sensational on the track, but then you come off, you look in pain and you're holding your arm. How are you feeling?
I feel good, you know, when the tapers go up and my adrenaline starts going, I can't feel it, but as soon as I start, the pain's immense, you know, so that's why I said paracetamol, I'm just waiting for them to kick in and just keep watching the races.
Just going to be a case of ignoring it in the quiet time and just getting out there and using the adrenaline to pump you through?
I've come this far, I can't stop now.
How important is it to you to win tonight and get the double this year?
Yeah, you know, it'd be nice, but yeah, my goals this year was the under-21s here and do well in the World Cup, so we'll see how we go tonight, and fingers crossed.
Do you feel that you've got something to prove here tonight, especially after what happened last year?
You know, I had a tough year last year, but you know, I've got over that now, and this year's gone good. And unfortunately, I broke my shoulder and it knocked me back a bit, but I don't even feel like I've been off for 4 or 5 weeks. You know what I mean? I feel good, so we'll just keep plugging away.
Yeah, you don't seem rusty at all on the bike. What opportunity have you had before this?
I had to go in Sweden on Tuesday, and then 2 World Cup test matches, so not much, but I feel good, so we'll keep fighting.
I'm trying to take your mind off it here as well. Am I helping?
Yeah, no, it's not working.
All right, keep it up. Well done.
Heat number 14 coming up then here, and Lewis Bridger is a man under pressure in red. The Eastbourne Eagles man who's piled up the points in the Elite League this season has only got 3 so far. Yeah, he's off the inside.
Sorry, Nigel, a disappointing performance from Bridger so far.
Gate 2 is Lee Lanham, who's been entertaining. Stuart Robson, equally entertaining. He goes off gate 3. 7 points so far for Robson. Ben Barker, also under pressure, needing points here. We're getting down to that stage of the meeting, Kelvin.
Yeah, he may well find it difficult because he's coming from the outside, although Woofenden didn't. But certainly Ben Barker, slightly disappointing performance so far.
Bridger then, needing a good start off the inside, and he's made it. That's a fine start from Lewis Bridger. Ben Barker coming hard around in the yellow helmet colour, and now Lanham in blue. And Stuart Robson charging hard in the white helmet now. Stuart Robson putting them under all sorts of pressure. They're all very tight coming down the home straight, but Bridger has the lead.
Brilliant stuff from Lewis Bridger there from the inside. It's gone wide. Barker on the back wheel, surges to the front after making an atrocious start. Runs wide. Bridger back up the inside.
Whoa!
Neck and neck into the first turn. Just a couple of laps to go. Bridger out of shape. Barker might well be able to get back up the inside. Julie does. Superb Speedway.
Can't take your eyes off this one. Ben Barker has that lead going into the last lap. Bridger is second. Stuart Robson under all sorts of pressure in third place as well. Bridger coming back for more. Barker holds the line. What a race this is. Every point is precious. Barker's done enough. Bridger holds the line and coming through for third place as well. Stuart Robson. What a Speedway race that was, folks.
Fabulous stuff there between Lewis Bridger and Ben Barker. Stuart Robson was overlooked and he picks up a valuable point. Barker finally makes it stick on the last lap. A tremendous amount of frustration for Lewis Bridger as he comes over the line. He was pounding the handlebars. Ben Barker finally gets his act together tonight and wins his first ride. Good stuff.
Well, they always appreciate good Speedway here at Wolverhampton, and that was brilliant. Ben Barker, massive 3 points, rockets him right back in contention for a place in the top 6. Lewis Bridger was second there, moves him on to 5. Stuart Robson had to settle for just a point there, but he's on 8 now. And last place was with Lee Lanham, but that was hugely entertaining Speedway.
Bridger makes a start from the inside quite nicely, and Barker then roars right round the outside, and then all of a sudden he can then get amongst it. They were swapping places for fun. Super stuff. Now Ben Barker on the back wheel, down the back straight, he gets himself to the front, runs very wide, and Lewis Bridger then says thank you very much, and neck as they start the next lap and into the first corner. Then Bridger just lifts fractionally, runs too wide, and Barker right down on the curb, bars himself back to the front. Really good stuff, you've got to say, between them two youngsters out in front, really putting on a great show for us. Barker will be absolutely delighted to have pulled off that win. Really good stuff.
Yep, brilliant ride. Let's get some reaction with Chris.
Thanks, Nigel. Nigel Pearson has described your riding style as erratic at times, but I tell you what, there was nothing erratic about that. It was precise, wasn't it?
Yeah, get out my way, I'm coming through, you know. I want to be in the final, you know. I want to get to Cardiff, I want to be British champion, so needed to do it.
Didn't quite get a run around the outside. Lewis made the inside work well. I think you noted that straight away on lap 1, and precise going for the inside every lap.
Well, you know, you just close to the fence, stop his run, you know, and I could feel him, and I just kept shutting the door, thinking it's going to hurt if you come.
Puts you on 8 points, a realistic chance now of making that race off.
Yeah, you know, I've got some people in Tenerife watching me and people at home, so I've got to be in the final.
Good luck with it. Thanks, Ben.
Cheers.
Well, let's take a look at the latest standings now. Heat number 15 is coming up. Ty Woffington and Chris Harris in the top 2 at the moment. But look how important that race win was for Ben Barker. 8 points for him. And, well, Stuart Robson on 8 as well.
Yeah.
Lee Richardson just outside the top 6. And Lewis Bridger well behind on 5 points now.
Yeah, disappointing for Lewis Bridger, particularly the last race. But a really good clash here between Nichols and Edward Kennett. Nichols coming from the outside. Only Ty Woffington has made a really clean start from there. We've got a couple of race wins from the outside now, but certainly an interesting clash of the big guns on the outside.
Heat number 15 it is. Ricky Ashworth off the inside in red. Gate 2 in blue is Danny King. 3 points so far. Eddie Kennett, how entertaining has he been? He's off gate 3. Scott Nichols off the outside. And again here, Kelvin, we find the big guns off the outside 2 gates.
Exactly, and if Danny King can make a half sensible start on the inside there, on gate 2 rather, he could actually make those 2 guys work awfully hard. Track conditions have slicked off now. It's more difficult to pass. It's more difficult to find that extra momentum to get yourself past somebody. So, yeah, pressure on. Nichols is not happy. I saw that in his face when he was being interviewed there. He's on 8 points, but I think he's far from satisfied with his inherent speed. He knows he needs to up his game if he wants to win here tonight.
Yeah, he admitted that as much in the interview that he gave.
Yep.
As we build up to another important race. Every race absolutely vital here at Monmore Green. Who will prevail here in a big heat number 15 and away from the start? That's a good one. Danny King gets it right. Finally, Nichols goes wide. Now he's going to come up the inside. It's all very tight down that back straight. Oh my word, Ricky Ashworth in the red helmet, and now Nichols charging through. Edward Kennedy's at the back, but that is a fine move from Scott Nichols. Ricky Ashworth proving to be a spoiler in the red helmet colour, but Nichols worked hard. Kennedy now coming through into 3rd, and Danny King under pressure.
Very much so, and Scotty Nichols having to work very hard to get himself to the front. He's settling down now, beginning to pull away. There's a great scrap going on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Ricky Ashworth there, he's got people coming at him from the inside. Kennett up the inside, 3 abreast through turns 3 and 4. How are they all staying on? Kennett now into 2nd place up the inside. How hard has he had to work? Ashworth is going to get beaten up here. Could well get relegated to the back. Meanwhile, unaware of all of that, Nichols is out in front looking good.
Yep, Kennett 2nd, Ashworth gets a hard 4 point, and Danny King trails in last, and that could scupper his hopes of getting into the race-off for a place in the grand final of the British Championship. But what a ride from Scott Nichols, and again, we are seeing some spectacular speedway here tonight, Kelvin.
We are. Brilliant stuff. Danny King, you've got to say, he was leading the race on the opening lap, failed to actually score there. Nichols did very well to surge to the front. It was a tight corner on the opening lap going into turn 3, but 3 very valuable points for him.
Terrific meeting here. Nichols the winner, Edward Kennett 2nd, Ricky Ashworth was 3rd, Danny King at the back. But again, heat number 15, all 4 laps were keenly contested. Nichols pulled clear, but even then, there was the small matter of Kennett, Ashworth and King, wheel to wheel.
Yeah, it was, and you've got to say that it was such a good effort. Initially, Nichols then gets pushed wide by King, who makes a good start from the inside. Has to work very hard, and then Ricky Ashworth coming into the picture, and it's really 3 abreast as they roar down the back straight on the opening lap. Here he comes, roaring in there. How tight was that with Ricky Ashworth up the inside and Danny King on the outside. Danny King's the big loser here. He fails to score, gets relegated to the back because Edward Kennett, as he has done all night long so far, has to come charging through the traffic and picks up a valuable 2 points. Finally, the big guns come through, but good speedway once again. Great stuff.
Yep, 15 heats gone. Woffington on 12 and Nichols now on 11, a point ahead of Harris. Remember, the top 2 edge through to the final itself automatically, and then the next 4 qualify for the race-off, a one-off tilt at getting into the grand final. So it's all very tight, and Nichols will perhaps feel a little bit happier now.
He should be. I suspect he feels that he still needs to get a little bit more. There's a clash later on, of course, between Nichols and Harris. That'll be very interesting in Heat 20. but certainly on 11 points. Harris may well rue dropping those 2 points, particularly when you consider it's Jordan Frampton that beat him in his last outing. Harris won't want to go through that race-off if he can avoid it.
Well, another change here. Ashley Morris, once again of the Dudley Hedons, comes in the white helmet colour, played a part in their win at Buxton yesterday in the National League as we build up to heat number 16. And a big night for Ashley and Tom Perry at reserve, getting plenty of experience on the big stage here tonight, the local lads.
Good to see, and just a bit of clutch adjustment going on there with his mechanic. It might be his dad, I don't know, Nigel, you'd know that better than I would, but certainly just a little bit of a fine-tuning with the clutch. We're going to see some gate stats now. Certainly the outside has suddenly come alive. I think it's more there's certainly 4 wins out of the last 5 races from the outside, so you can clearly, it's not always about getting to the first corner in front. Quite often you can get really good position to make your mark down the back straight. So Lee Richardson coming from the outside, will be hoping it works for him.
It's 4 from the last 5, and the one that didn't succeed off gate 4 was Jordan Frampton when he fell when being passed by Eddie Kennett. So it's obviously working a treat. Richard Hall off the inside, Ollie Allen goes off gate number 2, Ashley Morris goes off gate number 3. He's got Premier League experience with Edinburgh, and off the outside it's Lee Richardson of the Lakeside Hammers in the yellow helmet colour. Richardson so far 7 points to his name, but he'll need more than that to get into the top 6, and Chris Harris watching on, an interested observer, the reigning British champion, but his title's on the line to be decided tonight. Heat number 16, and away from the start. It's a good one for the man in the blue helmet colour. Ollie Allen again looking good here. In yellow is Lee Richardson. He's going to have some work to do. Richard Hall is third, and Ashley Morris trailing at the back.
Oh, he has to hang on to the bike there, Lee Richardson. He clipped the fence going into turn 3 and very nearly ran into the bottom of the air fence. Oliver Allen, renowned for his starting, is out in front. Lee Richardson, though, he won't take this lane down. Richardson needs 3 points here, needs to take care of Allen out in front. He's charging hard, Nigel.
Battle at the front and a battle at the back right now. Ollie Allen has been fast starting tonight. Richardson comes on the inside. What a ride from Lee Richardson, really putting serious pressure on Ollie Allen. He's going to take him out wide. It's a good ride by Lee Richardson.
Tough ride by Lee Richardson also. Classy round the inside and then slams the door shut onto the last lap. Valuable 3 points, just keeps him well and truly in the hunt.
Yeah, good ride from Lee Richardson. It's a real hard fall. There's been passing in almost every race tonight.
I tell you what, the track is absolutely brilliant. It's giving opportunities to go round the inside, go round the outside. I tell you what, this is a great venue for a Grand Prix night. Can you imagine having the best riders in the world here? We've had fabulous stuff, but I tell you what, so far we've had 16 excellent races.
Absolutely right. Ollie Allen has been really trapping tonight, but Richardson did it the hard way there. A win for Lee Richardson. Second place, Ollie Allen. Third was Richard Hall. Ashley Morris was on the pace there. He was trailing in at the back, though.
Super start from Oliver Allen out of gate 2. Lee Richardson desperately trying to get across, but has to make Allen makes him work very hard down the back straight on the opening lap. But so Lee Richardson works it out, gets himself right up the inside, and then slams the door shut right across in front of Oliver Allen and picks up a big 3 points. Good stuff from Lee Richardson, but he's having to work hard for it.
Yep, and he's got Edward Kennett, Stuart Robson and Ty Woffenden in his last ride. That's coming up in heat number 17. It's a terrific lineup, and we are seeing some superb speedway here tonight. Woffenden, the only unbeaten rider so far, with some spectacular action and passing in almost every race. Woffenden and Nichols in the top 2 at the moment. Harris, Kennett and Richardson on 10. Barker and Robson on 8 points apiece. And we've got 4 qualifying races left to decide the top 6 riders. A reminder, if you've just joined us tonight, the top 2 straight through to the final, and the next 4 into a race-off to try and get into the final. So some terrific speedway. Every race here tonight, Kelvin, appears, it seems to me anyway, as though we've had some passing in every race.
Yeah, it's been terrific entertainment so far, and you're right. I think there's been passing in every heat. You have to say that, you know, the track curator here, Doc Bridget, has done a marvellous job, as he does every week. Fantastic lineup in Heat 17. All 4 of these riders are in the top 6, looking for a championship here this evening. Woffenden's the one for me that really has been the class apart. You know, he has had that injury, but has still charging strong. Kennett's out here as well. He looks very hungry for success. looking to prove a lot of doubters wrong. A lot of talk about Edward Kennick not having enough ambition, Nige. And I think that may have had
I think he'd argue with that.
I think certainly, but this year he's setting about, he's in the Grand Prix qualifiers, he wants to make the World Cup squad. And of course, he wants to be British champion here tonight. But Heat 17 looks fantastic.
And Heat number 20, by the way, you've got Scott Nicholls, Chris Harris and Ben Barker in Heat 20. So what a lineup that promises to be as well. Heat number 17 then, Edward Kennick, 10 points so far, and every one of those 10 points, Kelv, has been hard fought for the Coventry man.
Yeah, it has. He hasn't been clean to the first corner like Woofenden has once or twice, and he's had to really battle hard. And certainly that last time when he charged, well, every time he's been charging through the traffic, so a good effort from him so far.
Woofenden off the inside then, the maximum man. Will that stay the case in his fifth ride? Robson off gate 2, 8 points to his name, could do with a second or third here. Lee Richardson off gate 3 on 10 points so far, and Edward Kennick off the outside also on 10, so a real quality lineup here. And Stuart Robson has been good value, but it's a tough race for him to get a point from here. He's going to need every bit of his experience.
Yeah,
Stuart Robson.
But he's the type of rider that will make a good start now. He's got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And he might just be a spoiler in the first corner here and make it more difficult for the riders from the outside. You know, the way it's worked, Woofenden could be under a lot of pressure now because the outside gates have started working a lot better than the inside gates. So that man with number 1 on his back, will he be number 1 tonight? Certainly been very impressive so far. Needs to do the business again.
Heat 17 it is down away from the start into that first turn. Woofenden has made a good one, and also the man in white, Lee Richardson, looking good. Woofenden holds the line though, and he's pulled well clear. How impressive was that back straight from Woofenden? Second place in white is Lee Richardson. Eddie Kennick comes through. A fine move from Eddie Kennick. Third place now is Lee Richardson, and Stuart Robson at the back. Oh, and he's almost lost it completely. But what about Woofenden, Kelvin?
Fantastic stuff from Ty Woofenden once again. A textbook first corner, knows this place inside out. Kennick is having a great night. He charges into second place and sets about charging after Ty Woofenden. But Woofenden will perfect out in front. Can't see him getting beat from there.
He won the British Under-21 title at Lakeside in April. Can he win the British title itself on his home track at Wolverhampton? Still suffering pain from that broken shoulder.
Putting away.
Kicking on and looking absolutely immaculate here. Ty Woofenden comes off turn 4, takes the checkered flag and qualifies for the final of the British final with a 15-point maximum.
He needs to win the meeting now with a 15-point maximum to his name so far. It'd be desperately disappointing if he can't seal the deal in the big final in Heat 22 a little bit later on. Ty Woofenden in a class of his own.
Absolutely brilliant from Ty Woofenden, the race winner. Second place there was Edward Kennick, and that is enough for him to secure 12 points, so he will feature later in the meeting. Lee Richardson got third there. So he's got 11 points to his name, and Stuart Robson at the back.
How good is Ty Woofenden tonight when you consider how much discomfort he's in? Brilliant away from the takes. It's almost helping him, Nigel, because he can't get too animated on the motorbike. He has to be really calm and really focused on his reaction and the way the bike pulls him into the first corner. Once it all settles down, it's all about second place, no matter how hard Edward Kennick tries here. And by golly, does he try hard. Look how tight that was as he surges through into second place. An excellent effort from the Coventry B to pick up 2 points. But that man out in front, 15 out of 15, you can't do better than that.
Wow, superb ride. And we feared the worst for him earlier, Ty Woofenden.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. When I saw him come off the track, I thought, that's it, curtains.
Yeah, brilliant. 15 points out of 15. He's through to the final, that's for sure. Edward Kennick on 12. Might not be enough for him to go straight into the final, but it's enough, surely, for him to be in the top 6 now and still be in with a chance of winning the British title. Hats off. Never mind putting his hat on. It's hats off to Ty Woofenden, with his team manager Peter Adams in his pit corner tonight.
Well, he's got to be proud of his man tonight, because there's no question they've missed him, and certainly on this evidence of this form, he's come into this meeting and is absolutely riding a stormer. Plenty of attention, plenty of concern about him. But look at this, he has a crunching there. Ricky Ashworth clouts him on that left side, and that really does unsettle him and really makes that left shoulder much, well, certainly very sore. It was sore anyway, and certainly just aggravates it even further. He does remarkably well to just get off the bike and just bounce against the air fence and back up to his feet. But subsequently, He's just defied us all. The way he reacted after that, I suggested that he may not be able to take any further part in the meeting. He's come up with 3 brilliant performances.
He certainly has, and how he would love to figure at Cardiff and the Millennium Stadium on June the 25th. How he would love to be crowned British champion for the first time. He's already the British Under-21 champion. Woofington looking good here at Monmore Green tonight, and what has been a hugely entertaining British final with 3 qualifying races to go.
And just quickly, you know, his performances last year, clearly he wasn't a happy man. He found it very difficult to cope with the pressure of such a big season, but he has class. We saw the year before in World Cups and, you know, certain performances, he showed plenty of evidence that he can do it at the highest level.
Richard Hall off the inside. The Leicester Lions, gate 2 in blue, is Lewis Bridger, only 5 points to his name. A relatively disappointing night for Lewis. He's a better rider than that. Jordan Frampton has been good entertainment value tonight. He's only got a couple of points, but
He's only got 2 points.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ricky Ashworth, 3 points from 4 rides for the Sheffield Tigers man. This is heat number 18. Lewis Bridger off 2, maybe the favourite for this race, but Jordan Frampton off 3. As I said, it's been good entertainment value.
Well, he's made a couple of decent starts, hasn't he? And he really has got amongst the action. And certainly you say, yeah, he needs more than 2 points. He's obviously had a crash. Clearly has found it difficult to score points, but there's been no lack of effort from the young man. Lewis Bridger, a disappointing night for him. He's had a good start to the season back with Eastbourne. They're flying high at the top of the table. And for some reason tonight just hasn't been able to put in the performance that he really needed to have.
Heat number 18 it is then. The bikes roar and away from the start. It's a good start from the man on the inside, Richard Hall. And now coming around the outside, Jordan Frampton. I did say it'd be good entertainment value. And, well, this is heat number 18, and Bridger working hard in the blue helmet. He's... Oh, there's almost a collision there, Cal.
Brilliant stuff from Lewis Bridger. Made an awful start. Roared up the inside. Now Jordan Frampton up the inside, pushing hard. Bridger having to work extremely hard just to stay in front. Bridger settles now nicely in front. This is more like it from him. I don't like the way he keeps kicking his foot off the footrest. Very vulnerable in the middle of the corner when you do that. Look at that. Not ideal, but certainly Frampton charging hard in second.
It's his type of track, Monmore Green, Lewis Bridger. And there goes a perfect example of what you're talking about, Kelvin.
Very vulnerable, you know, and Saifurinov does it a lot. Got off the bike. Certainly Bridger seems to enjoy it. Gets all his weight back on the seat to get his maximum drive. And he's out in front, and it's working for him right now. Roaring to the checkered flag.
Lewis Bridger takes the checkered flag then in heat number 18. And it was hard work early on because Frampton again was very much in the mix there. And he ended up in second place with Ricky Ashworth third. It's spectacular to watch Lewis Bridger. There's no doubt about that. And he has got a raw talent on the motorbike. And that was a fine win from Lewis Bridger. Second place, Jordan Frampton. Third was Ricky Ashworth. Bridger onto 8 points with that win. Richard Hall, who trapped but ended up last.
Yeah, it was a tough first corner here. You've got to say that Richard Hall makes a really good start, but look at that first corner from Lewis Bridger, right up the inside. We're on board with Bridger now. You watch this first corner. He puts his front wheel right up on the curb here, makes a poor start. The decision is made because of that poor start, right up on the inside, and then surges to the front. He then enjoys himself out in front, but he hasn't really enjoyed himself here this evening. He hasn't had the night that he would have wished for, and certainly he's going to struggle to make any more impact in the British final tonight, but he entertained us then.
Well, Lewis Bridger on 8 points, level with Stuart Robson. Ben Barker is on 8 and has got a race in hand on Bridger and Robson. And still looking at the top of the board, you know, Woofington we know is through to the final, but Nichols and Richardson, well, Scott Nichols certainly can still get the better of Edward Kennett and go straight through to the final. Richardson has finished his 5 rides with 11 points, so Chris Harris can still make it.
Well, yeah, Harris with a win, certainly in E20, could certainly overhaul of it and make his mark, and it will be very interesting. And now it's all about who can make the top 2 to avoid that race-off, because the race-off really will be a graveyard for 2 of them.
Cutthroat, the race-off, there's no doubt about that, and this is the beauty of it, a bit like a Grand Prix. It's going to be a sudden death final for the title.
And I think that's ideal for Woofington, of course. He doesn't want to have a cutthroat race at this stage with that dodgy shoulder. Certainly he'll be delighted to have made his way straight through to the grand final. This race, unfortunately, these 4 riders will not be able to take any further part after heat 20, so they're racing for pride right now. So Allen, Lanham and Hart, King just want to try and finish the night on a high.
Yeah, disappointing for Danny King. He's a better rider than his performance has suggested tonight. He's off the inside. In red, rides for the Birmingham Brummies in the Elite League. Not too far away from here, down at the Perry Bar Stadium, where we were on the opening night of our season. And there's been some terrific racing there at Birmingham. And a massive crowd against Coventry last Thursday. And Emil Saifudanov has apparently said that that Perry Bar track is one of the best he's ever seen.
It's a good track, you know, and I'm delighted to see them up in the top division because it's a good venue.
Yep, King off the inside. Duran Hart off gate 2 in blue. Lee Lanham, gate 3 in white, has given a good account of himself tonight. And Ollie Allen goes off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. This is heat number 19. It's just consolation points up for grabs here. Ollie Allen, who came in for the injured Ben Wilson, has done well, as we see Scott Nichols now building up to heat 20, where he will come up against Chris Harris, his great rival, in heat number 20. Nichols will be off the inside gate and Chris Harris will be off gate 2. But heat 19 comes first. And Duran Hart will benefit from the experience, I'm sure, of being in the British final tonight. And Ollie Allen, I think, has been good value as a replacement for Ben Wilson.
No surprise for me, you know. Oliver Allen's got plenty of experience now. He's ridden a few British finals, and on his night, he's a sharp starter. So can he do a sharp start from the outside here?
Heat number 19, consolation points on the line, and it's a deep. Well, that was looking very shaky and going down now. Well, it's Ollie Allen into that fence. The red lights are on straight away.
Jaron Hart was a little bit out of shape going to the first corner there. Oliver Allen, unfortunately, felt the full force of it as they roared into the first corner. I would suspect that all 4 riders will be back here, but certainly, if you look at Jaron Hart, he comes roaring across there, and he's all out of shape, and really runs straight across in front of Oliver Allen. So all 4 back.
Yep, all 4 back for the restart. Dave Dowling, the referee, calling all 4 riders back, and Ollie Allen biting the dust. But it is a first turn incident, but he's still on the bike there, Kelvin. Still on the bike there, and then goes down.
Yeah, he was going down when Jaron Hart was in gate 2 and found himself right on the outside of the track. He certainly was a little bit, he did a great big snake going to the first corner, and Allen, who was coming across, just found himself with nowhere to go. So, no surprise to see all of them back in the rerun.
Crowd enjoying it here at the Monmore Green Stadium, Wolverhampton tonight. And this is a reminder of the latest standings with heat 20 to come. Ty Woffenden, we know, is straight through to the final. The top 2 go through. Eddie Kennett is done on 12 points. Now, heat number 20 sees Scott Nichols against Chris Harris and Ben Barker. Nichols and Harris, well, they will be fighting effectively for a place in the final, Kelvin.
They will, and there's a very good chance that Kennett will find himself not in second place once they've completed heat 20. Harris and Nichols have a very good opportunity to actually usurp him there and, push him a bit further down. Interesting battle going on there. Certainly psychology will be at play in heat 20 with them both next door to each other. Scott Nichols on the inside, what will he do? Will he charge out in that first corner and try to nail that first turn, or will he get his, the front wheel right up on the curb and go right around the inside? Interesting decision for him to make.
Well, Ty Woffenden, how brilliant has he been? 15-point maximum, but it counts for nothing if he doesn't qualify for Cardiff or win the British title.
Yeah, I said it when he won his 5th race and got his 15-point maximum. It would be such a shame if he doesn't now seal the deal. He's been the class act on all night, and certainly he's been brilliant.
He's keeping a close eye on gate 4 there.
I think gate 4 would be a very vulnerable position for the final itself. I suggest that he's won 2 races from the inside tonight. He knows how to get off the inside around that first turn. He's a past master at it, and riding here week in, week out, he knows there's always a little bit of dirt coming off the first corner on the inside. So it'll be a big decision. He's having a good long look at it, though.
Is gate 4 a gamble? Because it's really later in the meeting where it's coming to its own.
It is a gamble because not many riders have actually made it to the first corner. It's all about their moves they've made once you've got going. Much more difficult to make that move in the final because there's 3 other lads there that aren't going to be pushed out the way. Much more competitive in the final to then just rely on a bit of good fortune coming out of the first turn. The inside would be where I would choose to go from.
Well, he's keeping a close eye on the gate positions. He's doing his homework. No doubt Peter Adams has told him to go and take a look. But gate 2, the best of the night. I wonder if he'll consider that one as well.
He's looking at it now, so clearly he is, and he's doing his homework, and it will be very interesting to see which way it falls for him and which one he chooses. But I suggest it will be one of the 2 inside gates that would be favourite for him to go for. Gate 4, for me, would be a risk.
That's for the final. Ty Woffington looking at the gate positions. That is for the final. But who will join him in the final? He's the only one certain to be in that grand final, which will be the 22nd race of the night. We've got 2 qualifying races to come. It'll be either Nichols or Harris to join him, and basically heat 20 will be a straight shootout to decide who qualifies automatically for the final. The race off, anything can happen.
You know, yeah, exactly. There's no question about that. You said that it's a graveyard race, and it will be. Certainly Nichols has made no secret of the fact that he wants his British title back. Desperately disappointed not to have won it last year here, and when Harris made a fantastic start in the final. And there's no doubt that Nichols is fired up, wants to be British champion again. Of course, if he wins tonight, he will then go to Cardiff in a few weeks' time. But that's all to come after heat 19.
Yep, second time of asking here. Danny King off the inside, Duran Hart off gate number 2, Lee Lanham off gate 3, and Ollie Allen going off the outside. He was the man who came down, and second time of asking. Consolation points on the line for each of these riders, because none of these boys can progress to qualify for the top 6. There is the British final trophy. We've seen some famous names hold that aloft down the years, and you've got great memories of British finals as well, Kelvin.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to win a couple of times, came second a few times as well, second too many times if I remember rightly. It's a gutty experience, but yes, always enjoyed riding the British Championship. It was always a great meeting to be involved in.
But that was over 5 rides, wasn't it? They didn't have a grand final in those days,
no,
did they?
that was introduced later on.
So, heat number 19 it is, second time of asking, and these boys will be desperate to bow out with a win. Who's going to emerge here away from the start? And it's all very even once again. Early on, though, the lead is with Danny King of the Birmingham Brummies in the red helmet colour. Lee Lanham comes through in white, and now charging hard around the outside is Ollie Allen in yellow. The man at the back is Duran Hart, but Danny King has the lead here in red and looking good. The brother of Jason King, who rides for the Newcastle Diamonds. Danny looking good, though. It'd be good for him to finish on a high note here.
I'll tell you what, Lee Lanham's having a good go in second place as well, Nigel. There's no question that Lanham's right on the pace. King is very vulnerable. Plenty of action going on out the back as well, with Duran Hart coming through into third place. You pushing Oliver Allen out of the way, but out in front, King hanging on by his fingertips.
Absolutely, Lee Lanham working hard. He tries the inside line. Danny King goes into the last lap here now of heat number 19. King has the lead. Lee Lanham is second. Third place in blue is the hard-charging Duran Hart. But Danny King looks like he's going to end the meeting in style, unless Lee Lanham can pip him to the post. Oh, very tight. And a man's gone down at the back as well.
Duran Hart's got out of shape in the last corner with Ollie Allen charged up the inside. He looks a bit second-hand and certainly knocked about, but what a close finish that was. Lee Lanham kept battling away. Danny King may have held on, but it was very, very tight.
Absolutely right, and anyone would think a place in the final was on the line there. It was so keenly contested as Lanham comes up the inside here. This is how close it is at the end of the race. Duran Hart hits the fence at the back. Let's hope he's going to be okay. But the man up front, well,
tell you what, it looks like he may well have just snuck that away from Danny King. Certainly had more momentum, got more grip coming out of the last corner. And can we see the head-on? Difficult from the head-on, but I fancied that Lanham may have just stolen that.
Yeah, what a ride.
Brilliant ride.
What a ride.
He was looking over his shoulder coming out of the second corner for the last time. He was under no threat from behind at all. And then look at that. He's on the grippy line coming off the inside there. He's half a bike up there. And he's just going to steal this away from Danny King. And Danny King's going to be gutted.
Well, tremendous ride. And as I say, it's consolation points for these boys. Anyone would think it was a final on the line. It was tremendous. Lee Lanham has got the win. Danny King was second. Just awaiting confirmation of who has got third place. Because, of course, Duran Hart fell at the end of the race. It's a question of whether, in actual fact, he's given Ollie Allen third place. And Duran Hart fell there in heat number 19. So confirm the result of the penultimate race of the qualifiers. Lee Lanham, the race winner. Danny King was second with Ollie Allen third. Duran Hart came to grief at the end of the race, and we wish him well. But good Speedway again. heat number 19 as we build up to a massive heat number 20. It is a terrific lineup. Chris Harris against Scott Nichols. Nichols will go off the inside gate. Harris will go off too. Let's not rule out Ben Barker either in white, and there will be probably Tom Perry in the yellow helmet colour. What an experience for Tom Perry to come into a lineup like this.
Yeah, fabulous lineup and an opportunity for the young man. But yes, you're right. The two big guns on the inside here. Very interesting to see how they play it. There's no question that there will be psychology and there will be some tension. It could be a dress rehearsal for the final.
Let's hear from the Great Britain manager Neil Middleditch now with Charlie.
Thanks, Nigel. Neil, we've seen you wandering around the pits, keeping your beady eye out, talking to some of the riders. Now let's talk about the next heat first. We've got Ben Barker, Scott Nichols and Chris Harris. Who do you think is going to come trumps out of that one?
No one's going to put me on the spot, is there?
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great race, whatever way you look at it. I think Ben's got to get a point. He knows that really. So obviously, you know, he's basically in, but to be on that 100 to 10% sure, he's got to get the point. But Chris and Scott, two great riders, going to be a great race. I mean, I'm not going to put. I'm not going to. Oh, go on, Scott.
Oh, controversial there. Yeah. Let's go back to Ben Barker just for a second, because I think Ben's a fantastic rider, a great person to watch, but tends to be inconsistent. Are you looking at him for this summer?
Oh yeah, I think I'd have to say yes, wouldn't I? Yeah, no. What you get with Ben, what you see is what you get. I mean, it's 110% trier, and they're the sort of guys you want in the England team. And Ben has proved himself in the Test matches last week, and again this evening that he's a very capable rider, and you know, he's exciting to watch. And as I say, 110%, that's all you need. And
he beat Emil Saifutinov and also Chris Holder, didn't he? Which is a fantastic feat.
No, he did around Lakeside. He beat Chris fair and square, and you know, he's certainly stepping up to the plate, that's for sure. And that's what I asked, you know, when I took on the job again. You know, show me what you got, and they certainly are.
What are you looking for then specifically tonight?
I'm just looking for the riders who've got hearts, and I mean, I think they all have tonight. I mean, the usual suspects are up there on the top, aren't they? And like I said earlier, I think that you can pick most. A thinking man will be able to pick my World Cup team for me tonight, I think, on tonight's performance.
Oh, thank you. We'll see if your prediction's right then in this next heat. Thanks, Neil.
All right, Charlie. Thanks.
Well, there is a slight delay before heat 20 because the safety fence needs repairing coming off turn 4. Where Duran Hart actually hit that fence. I think he may have broken a kickboard. Here's the league table then. Woffington on 15 points is the clear leader. And as we say, a slight delay, which is frustrating because the riders actually are just desperate to get out there.
Yeah, they've having to wait a long time for Heat 20, of course, because there was a rerun in Heat 19. So, yeah, riders like Harris and Nichols having to be very patient. No question that nerves will be jangling a bit. You never really want to have these delays. You'd much rather be getting on with the action. A bit more work to be done to the safety fence, some new kickboards being delivered down there. That man's got a long wait. I just hope from Ty's point of view now he doesn't start thinking about it too much. He's ridden brilliantly tonight, and I think he's got a long wait. Of course, he's got to get the Heat 20 out of the way and the race off before he can take any further part.
So, running repairs to the Monmore Green safety fence here. The new kickboard needed. And hopefully it'll be a matter of moments before the riders are sent back out for.
And it's been a good meeting, though. It's been a really good meeting, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
It's been a fabulous advert for British Speedway. Got to say that, you know, even in Heat 19, when there wasn't much to race for, certainly Lee Lanham and Danny King put on a great show.
It's not doing the riders any favours, this, because they're just desperate to get out there and do the business. Scott Nichols in red, Chris Harris in blue, 11 points to Nichols, 10 to Harris. Ben Barker is in white on 8 points so far. He is a determined man, Chris Harris.
He is, certainly, and he's had lots of speed. He just had that odd ride, didn't he, where he dropped 2 points, and that may well make it certainly made this race harder for him if he wants to go straight through to the final. He may not be too fussed, but I'm sure both Nichols and Harris would love to finish on 13 points and you know, make sure they're in the top 2 and avoid the race-off.
And Harris in Copenhagen this weekend for the Danish Grand Prix. And it's going to be a big night for him because he's desperate, isn't he?
He needs a big night, doesn't he?
To get on the scoreboard in Copenhagen and get his Grand Prix campaign off and running.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be a massive catch-up, you know, to get him back into the top 8, to get an automatic selection for next year. You know, as a rider, his pride, he won't want to keep having a wild card pick. And certainly for me, I don't understand why his form has dipped so violently in the GPs, because back end of last year, Nigel, he was absolutely sensational. Could have won 2 Grand Prix, certainly Croatia and Terenzano in Italy went very close. So disappointing to see him struggling in the Grand Prix. Can't really Can't really put my finger on why.
2 minutes time allowance is on, so the fence is duly repaired, and we're about to get underway for what promises to be one of the highlights of what has been a tremendous night of Speedway here at the Monmore Green Stadium here in Wolverhampton, as we see Ben Barker preparing for action, and Scott Nichols in red, Chris Harris in blue, and Lee Richardson, he knows that he will be in the race off and looking for a big performance.
He is. He doesn't look quite quick enough so far tonight for me. He looks pretty, you know, he's competitive. Clearly he's competitive, but I think he's got to find a little bit extra. Conditions may come to Lee as the track has got a lot slicker now at the back end of the night. It's got a lot cooler here as well now as its darkness has descended. Certainly it's been a glorious afternoon and evening, early evening. But Heat 20 finally is about to take place, and what a tasty looking lineup. Great battle about to be fought out here. Well, the two boys on the inside for sure.
So here's the lineup then for heat number 20. Off the inside, Scott Nichols, 11 points to his name so far, a point behind Eddie Kennett. Gate 2 in blue is Chris Harris, who needs to win this race. He goes off gate 2. Ben Barker off gate 3 in the white helmet colour. It's a big race for him as well, on 8 points. And off the outside in yellow, the young local teenager from Dudley, Tom Perry, as a replacement for David Howe. This is heat 20, and we've been building up to this for quite some time. It's a massive race, Kelvin.
It's a massive race, certainly. You know, the championship's not going to be decided here, but there may well be a strong indication which way it's going to go by the outcome of this race, certainly with Harris and Nichols going head-to-head, and these two boys have dominated the championship over the last 8 years.
So Nichols and Harris could both go above Eddie Kennett. Kennett on 12. It's all about getting into the top 2 and into the grand final. So let's see what emerges here. It's a good start from the man in blue, Chris Harris, and it's all very tight up there inside with Scott Nichols holding second place. Ben Barker is third and Tom Perry trailing at the back, but Chris Harris has that lead. Scott Nichols is second, and if it stays like this, it's Chris Harris who'll join Ty Wofferton in the final.
Yeah, just for a moment I thought that Harris had lifted too hard off the start, but he then just powered to the front. Nichols is setting about it. Ben Barker was there, really charging hard. Scott Nichols has got to find something extra special here. Now Harris switches back to the inside. There's a little bit of grip there coming off the corner. I just sense if Harris keeps his wheels upright here, he should be able to hang on and pick up the vital win.
Yep, Harris has got plenty of experience on this track. He's ridden here many times down the years, knows the appropriate race lines, has the lead down the back straight. Chris Harris is going to head straight through to the final of the British final. Chris Harris and Ty Wofferton, we know, are the confirmed finalists so far. 2 of the 4 we now know, Chris Harris and Ty Wofferton, are in the final of the British final with 2 races to go. I think the man who does the fireworks here thinks the meeting's over. It's far from over.
They've, yeah, it's all about to happen. Certainly things are only just about to get going now because heat 20 in the result. Harris, superb performance from him out in front.
Chris Harris, the race winner. Scott Nichols second. Ben Barker was third, and Tom Perry trailing at the back there, and that means that Chris Harris finishes his qualifying rides on 13 points. Ty Wofferton on 15. They are straight through to the final of the British final. He'll be a happy man, and he will go back to the pits now knowing he's got a bit of time to prepare for the final, while Scott Nichols has to scrap it out in the race-off, Kelvin.
Yeah, really good performance there from Chris Harris. Got to say that he dropped a couple of points earlier on tonight, which was a surprise to all of us and himself, I'm sure. But I tell you what, he made up for it there. That was a classy performance. He came out of gate 2, got himself to the front, and although Nichols really charged hard, didn't have any answers to Harris. Track's gone slick now. If you can make the start and put yourself in the right place, the championship could be yours.
So this is what it meant to Chris Harris going into the pits. The passion, the commitment, the British title on the line for Harris. How he'd love to win it for a 3rd successive year. But, well, there's 2 big races to come. Into the semi-final we go, the race-off, I should say, and it's Ty Wofferton and Chris Harris who automatically go through to the final, but Scott Nichols, Eddie Kennett, Lee Richardson and Ben Barker are the riders in the race-off. I can tell you, Nichols will be off the inside, Kennett off 2, Richardson off 3, and Barker off the outside. Kelvin, who's your money on? Who do you fancy to go through?
Well, I think that Scott Nicholls and Eddie Kennett are the two riders that, for me, that will go through to the final tonight. I just sense that the inside gates may just prove a little bit more of an advantage at this late stage of the night, but got to say Ben Barker may well surprise us all with something spectacular. But it's been a spectacular night of Speedway throughout. It's one of the best British finals I can remember for some time.
Well, there's one rider who stood out tonight. 5 rides, 5 wins. Ty Woffenden into the final, and he is with Chris Louis.
Yes, Nigel, he's been immaculate. He may look relaxed sitting back down here in the pits, but I can tell you this guy's focused to the max. Ty, the track's dried out a lot. 15 immaculate points. You've worked, you've passed when you've had to. It's all going to be about making a start, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how we go. Just going to change the setup a tiny bit just to help me out the start a little bit more, and see how it goes.
We saw you looking at the start line earlier to focus very much on gate 4, but which gate do you think you're going to be going for?
It's out of 2 and 4. I'm undecided yet. I'll see. I found a nice ride off 2. I'll see if they use it in the semi-final. We'll see how we go.
And last pick was gate 4 in the semi-final, so it doesn't bode well. I mean, you seem to be very focused when you're out there looking at track conditions. It looked like perhaps your favourite gate.
Yeah, I like gate 4. It's good when you make a nice start and clamp them all on the curb, but it's definitely going to be the tougher option. But like I said, we'll watch the semi and see what choices we got.
Very focused tonight. We were looking for you earlier. You disappeared. You're obviously taking time out just to keep yourself to yourself tonight. Yeah,
I just went and sat out there and watched a few from the centre screen and just had a little sing-along to the songs I got playing today. So, I'm just trying to keep relaxed, and I'm having a good night tonight. I'm really happy, and that's the main thing I've been focusing on with my Speedway this year.
Great stuff. Good luck, Ty. Over to you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you. I've got Chris Harris with me. Chris, qualified number 2 there. Chris Louis was just talking to Ty. Have you been keeping an eye on Ty?
No, not too much. I know he's pretty good round here anyway, so as most of the riders are here. So I've been just concentrating on my own game and my own lines and knowing what I've got to do.
I've spent quite a lot of time with you in the pits, and the viewers have seen you at home, and there seems to be a slightly significant change here tonight. You seem so unbelievably focused and really want this. Has there been a mental change in you?
Yeah, I want this title and I don't want to lose it, so I know tonight I've got to win it to keep it. So I've got my right head on and had a good result in that last one, and whatever gate I come off next time, I'm being that first corner first.
And you mentioned gate there, so what gates are you looking at for the final?
1 and 2 is probably the better one, so whichever Ty takes, I'll take the opposite and get to that first corner in front and lead from there.
And looking at the semi-final, will you be watching?
I'll just watch the start to see who comes out the best, and then that'll be it then.
Is that all you look for when you're watching the guys race that you're going to be up against?
Yeah, I know what lines are to go around here tonight, so what's working, so I'll just watch the first corner and then that'll be it. Then I'll go back and get my head right for the final.
All right, thank you. Best of luck.
Cheers.
Well, Ty Woffenden is the maximum man on 15 points, but Chris Harris looking very determined, and he won't know what Woofy's thinking about the gate positions, so he'll go into that final very confident.
Yeah, and you look at his body language, and all of a sudden there's some life in his face. Earlier tonight he was looking a little bit downhearted, but certainly his performance so far this evening has been terrific. And just preparing themselves there, Lee Richardson, can he produce in the this race off now? Terrific atmosphere. I was outside the stadium just 20 minutes before coming on air, and there was lots of people coming through. There was a real buzz about the place, and all of a sudden it felt like it was a major event.
And the riders are focused. Look at Lee Richardson. He's desperate to get through to the final, because then the title will be decided in 4 laps and just about 60 seconds of action.
Yeah, exactly. And now with the track a lot slicker, it's much more difficult to overtake. So the emphasis on getting to the first corner and making a clean getaway is going to be really key to your success tonight. Got to say that Richardson can make some pretty special starts. Kennett, now there's a man who's been an entertainer tonight, really hungry to do the job. Hasn't made really good starts, has battled really hard to get to this point. Comes out of gate 2 though. On the stats, gate 2 is the best start place to be coming out of, and Woffenden there was suggesting to Chris that he may choose gate 2 for the final. I think gate 4 for the final would be a huge risk in my opinion. Nicholls on the inside, of course, vastly experienced, 5 titles to his name, wants desperately to equal Barry Briggs's record of 6 titles. What an achievement that would be. Could it be his night? But one tough hurdle to overcome. 2 riders out of here going to the final.
Ben Barker's the man in yellow. He's got Graham Drury, the Birmingham team manager, alongside him in the pits tonight. And two of these four riders, as Kelvin just said, will go through to the final, where they will join Ty Woffington and Chris Harris in the final of the British Championship. This, the 21st race of the night.
Really exciting now, isn't it? It's terrific. It's been building up. There's been a little bit of a pause. Been plenty of track preparation going on. Once again, the track looks absolutely immaculate for this late stage of the night. What a racing prospect. Can that man now make sure he gets through to the big final? Needs a big start from the inside.
Absolutely right. Scott Nicholls, who finished runner-up here last year to Chris Harris. That was enough for him to get the wild card for Cardiff, but let's be honest about it, at the end of the race he was absolutely devastated that he didn't win the British title.
He was. His reaction suggested he wasn't worried about riding at Cardiff. He was just wanted to be British champion again, and I'm sure those same emotions are still stirring inside him tonight. He wants to make his young daughter proud tonight. I know that they'll be watching at home. And certainly he has every opportunity. He needs that one more hurdle. Got to make a good getaway from the inside.
So the race off, last chance saloon for these four riders. Scott Nicholls off the inside in red, 13 points. Edward Kennett, gate 2 in blue, 12 points. Gate 3 in white, Lee Richardson, 11. And going off the outside, the outsider literally, Ben Barker in the yellow helmet.
He'll be a spoiler. He won't hold back in the first corner. Ben Barker, always exciting, always entertaining. Won't be easy coming from the outside when you look at the class of rider underneath him. But, you know, Ben Barker, he'll give it 100%. That man's been riding well tonight. You've got to say, as the evening's gone on, you sense that he's improved and he's really up for it. Desperate to hang on to his title.
It's very, very tense. Very, very tense.
You can almost hear a pin drop in a crowd, can't you?
Absolutely.
Everybody patiently waiting for this ride. Riders taking a little bit longer to settle down. No question. There's nerves are jangling right now.
The pressure is on. Heat 21, the race off. The first two from this race will join Woffington and Harris in the final. Dave Dowling, the referee, with his finger on the button, ready for action. Big race coming up, the pressure is on. Who will go through to the final? And Edward Kennett has made his best start of the night in the blue helmet. Now Nicholls is up the inside, Richardson is third, Barker's at the back. But what a start that was from Kennett. Now watch Barker in yellow. He's going high and wide into the dirt. Nicholls holds second place. Ben Barker's coming on strong. Barker in yellow is putting Nicholls under all sorts of pressure. Down that back straight they go.
Oh, Nicholls has gone from the inside to the outside to stop the move for Ben Barker. Barker now up the inside, nearly hits him, kills his momentum. What a start from Edward Kennett out of gate 2. Brilliant stuff from him. They're all creeping around the inside. Kennett and Nicholls looking good for the final.
Yep, these two look as though they may have done enough. The lead is with Eddie Kennett. Scott Nicholls second in red. That was Kennett's best start of the night. And Nicholls came under all sorts of pressure from Ben Barker. Lee Richardson is well at the back now. But Edward Kennett is heading through to the final. So is Scott Nicholls just about.
Just.
Oh, my word,
Barker
drama there.
Yeah, Barker kept charging around the outside. Scotty Nicholls there on the back wheel. Looked like he might just be a little bit vulnerable going to the start and finish line for the last time. But what a ride. What a ride from Edward Kennett. Hasn't made a start all night. Makes an absolute stormer. There you just see Scott Nicholls comfortably hanging on to second place, but a really good effort from Ben Barker back in third place. But Edward Kennett, well, he meant business there. Out of gate 2, really stormed to the front.
Kennett the race winner with Scott Nicholls second, Ben Barker third, Richardson at the back. Barker good value for entertainment in that race. And where on earth did Edward Kennett find that start from?
He sounded at the bottom of his toolbox. He looked around in there and found a sensational start. 6 times of asking. Absolutely jet propelled. Will Woofenden go for gate 2 now on the evidence of the race-off? Got to be a strong favourite for the top man tonight to choose that starting place. Barker battled hard all the way around the outside. Look at Nicholls slamming the door shut. There was no way he was going to allow Ben Barker to get through to second place and steal a final slot away from him. He's still keen and hungry to hang on and have an opportunity for his 6th title. Richardson was out the back. He was disappointing, could not land a blow from gate 3. Last corner, a little bit vulnerable on the back wheel. Hangs on to second, Nicholls. But Eddie Kennett was brilliant there.
Kennett, Nicholls, Woofenden, Harris. What a lineup for the 2011 British final. One race will decide the champion. The top 4 riders on the night, Woofenden, Harris, Nichols and Kennett, they're through. Let's go down to Chris Louis.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, just going to grab a word with Eddie. I know he's a busy man. Eddie, you haven't made the best of starts all night, but that was a cracker. You've really been the Iron Man battling from behind.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I'm out there to give 110%, and finally made a start. That one made it pretty easy. I knew they were queuing up behind me, but I knew if I kept on the inside, there's not much out wide now, so I knew I could just keep running off the dirt on the inside, but I've got to do something special because I know I'm going to get the outside gates now, and they haven't been as good as what 1 and 2 have.
Well, you're going to get third pick, so you know you're going to get a choice of 2. What do you think you're going to be left with?
It's probably 3 and 4, I expect, because I know Chris will probably take, or Ty might take 2 and Chris 1, but I don't know whether to go off gate 4 now, because if I don't make it good enough, I can cut back.
I can tell you that 1 and 2 have gone, so your choice is 3 and 4. What do you think?
Steve-O, 4, Dan, 3 or 4?
Bit of advice from the team here. Eddie, I think really this should be your choice, mate.
Yeah,
These guys have been out there watching you, but you're the man on the bike.
I just feel like if I don't make it good enough, I'll get stuck, and I can sort of control it a little bit. I'm going to take gate 4.
I'll tell you what, we'll go back to the studio. We'll come back to what you want in a minute. Back to you guys.
Well, gate 4 is said there, and
gate 4's the right decision. I think gate 3's pretty dusty and pretty bare there, and you saw Lee Richardson struggle out of gate 3 big time. No surprise for the top 2 to take the 2 inside gates. That really was all on the cards. Got to say that Woofenden clearly took the evidence from the race off there, where Eddie Kennett made a sensational start out of gate 2. So Woofenden off of gate 2, Harris off of gate 1. Then you've got Kennett coming from the outside. That'll be very interesting. And Nichols off 3. So this is a tremendous lineup. Can this man do it tonight? Woofenden, 15 out of 15 so far. Needs to just do it one more time.
The British title will be decided in 1 minute of action. Who will be crowned British champion? It will be one of 4 riders in the sudden death final, which will provide all the drama of this grand final. The final will last about 60 seconds around here at Monmore Green. Chris Harris is the reigning British champion. He's won it 2 years on the trot, would love to complete a hat-trick. Ty Woofenden is the British under-21 champion. He goes off gate 2 and is looking to add the British title to the under-21 title. Scott Nichols has won it 5 times, and Edward Kennett has never won it before. What a lineup for the final, Kelvin Tatum.
Yeah, fabulous lineup for the final, and there's plenty of stories about each rider here, as you've just pointed out, Nigel. Of course, Nichols could equal Brigo's 6 titles here tonight if he won. Woofenden, of course, 2 titles to his name this year, under 21, and the big one here this evening. What a story that is. Harris, 3 on the bounce at the same venue. That would be fabulous. Andy Smith did that back in the 90s. What a performance from him. And Kennett off the outside. What a stirring performance. He really has shown plenty of ambition tonight, no question about that. And his performance in the race-off was absolutely out of the top drawer. Just sense that Harris may have a little bit too much for the other boys here, but what a lineup.
So you're going for Chris Harris, that's official.
I just sense that Harris may... I'd like to see Woofenden win. I think that he's turned his life around and he's lost weight and he looks good, but you just sense that Harris, with the experience and the determination, could just be his night.
Well, if Chris Harris wins this meeting, whoever finishes second will go to Cardiff.
Yeah.
Because Chris Harris is already at Cardiff as a full-time member of the Grand Prix Series. So if Harris wins it and retains his British title, whoever finishes second will go to Cardiff as wild card. Bear that in mind. Harris off the inside, Ty Woofenden off gate 2 in blue, and there's a terrific atmosphere with the home fans backing him here at Wolves. Scott Nichols gate 3 in white, Eddie Kennett outside in yellow, and what a lineup it is. It is a real, true, all-star lineup. For the British title, he'll be determined.
Yeah.
Everybody's determined. There's the trophy.
Well, there's a trophy, and a fine trophy it is, and certainly Harris last year came out of gate 3, if my memory serves me correctly, and actually just defied all the stats and made a sensational start and picked up his 3rd British title. Can Nichols do that from gate 3? Gate 3 has been a little bit of a graveyard tonight, hasn't been very productive. Certainly the inside 2 gates have been better.
So you're going for Chris Harris. If I can't agree with you and go for the same rider, I'll go for Woofenden off 2. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
It's the British
Here we
final.
go.
The title on the line, a place at Cardiff on the line, and away from the start they go, and it's all very tight. Oh, surely it's going to end in tears. All 4 riders in that first turn pile into the fence. And that is nasty. Nasty.
Well, the two boys on the inside didn't get away very cleanly. Certainly Harris was snaking all over the place, and Wolverhampton didn't get away, and they all got there together, and as a result, they've all come down. That really was very dramatic.
Well, all four riders almost locked handlebars there. And there's going to be some running repairs. I think Chris Harris might still be down here. And let's obviously wish Chris all the very best. Those Speedway bikes are heavy as well, Kelvin.
They all charged in there, and they're all wrapped up around the motorbikes, and it's absolutely no surprise to me to see one of them. I was surprised to see three of them get up, to be honest. There's a chance that all four of them might not have got up there, because that really was quite a dramatic first turn. Rarely do you see them all get in there. There was no quarter given. We'll see it again. Harris on the inside snakes violently now. He just doesn't get a clean getaways. Coming from the outside, Kennett and Nichols get there as well. And Kennett very nearly gets there, you know, and he's trying to squeeze them all up. Just no room. Just no room, with Kennett making such a good effort there and just squeezing everybody up. And they all arrived at the same time.
Chris is up. Chris Harris is up, Kelvin.
You watch him now. He just snakes there and then lifts. He's a little bit off balance. So he just can't get in there. With Kennett does remarkably well. They've all gone down. And crash, bang, wallop, they're up against the safety fence. Good news to see Harris up about. We're going to see Act 2 come up now, aren't we, Nige? Because part 2, all four back, that is now confirmed by the referee, no surprise.
Absolutely right. I suspect the air fence may need to be pumped up again after it was pierced there.
That lift there, just from Harris, just causes him problems. And with Kennett coming hard across from the outside, I'll tell you what, Nichols has had a good clout as well, and they've all gone down. Look at that, all out of shape, all out of shape, all four riders down. Really, look at that bike all over the front of Nichols' handlebars in his helmet. I'll tell you what, they're lucky to get up with that.
Well, that is absolutely amazing. You can, well, the thing there as well, Kelvin, to bear in mind is that Ty Wolverhampton has got a damaged shoulder. But he got the least impact, it seems, there, and was able to walk away quicker than the rest of them there. But look how tight. These are brilliant shots.
Remarkable.
The drama of Speedway.
Look
and
at
the
Harris.
British
He's
final
out of
on the
shape.
line.
He's off the back of the bike, clouts the track really hard. But I tell you what, when that man gets off the motorbike, he normally sprints off the track and comes out and wins the rerun. Did it for Coventry last year in the grand final down at Poole, didn't he? Absolutely got ridden over by his teammate and just got up and won the rerun in fine style. Wow, what a first corner.
Well, these shots are spectacular. And thankfully, all four riders have been able to walk away from that incident. And remember, we've got a rerun to come with all four riders back for the restart.
Harris just lifts there too hard, and that kills his momentum, and that allows Wolverhampton to get across in front of him. And with Kennett coming from the outside, there's just no room, and they've all arrived at the same time.
All four riders back for the restart. It's just such good news that they're able to walk away from it, because somebody could have been seriously hurt there, Kelvin.
Yeah, and it's particularly relevant when you've got riders all hooked up around motorbikes with back wheels spinning, handlebars, footrests that are really rather nasty and can really do a lot of damage. So, yep, you're absolutely correct. You can't believe that all four riders got up. That really was incredible.
It's good news that they have walked away, and it really is just typical of the way the night has gone. Everything's happened. Neil Middleditch, the Great Britain team manager, is down in the pits with Chris.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, I mean, that just sums up what tonight has been about. There's been so much focus. Everybody has wanted this British Championship, the wild card place, but that could have been your entire World Cup squad going down there.
I know. I saw that happen. I mean, you sort of lose vision for up in the pits here, and I thought, oh my goodness. And yeah, luckily they're all up. But I saw, watching the replay, luckily most of the momentum had gone out when they'd hit the fence. So luckily, you say they're all up, and I think a couple of bent bikes, but thankfully they're all okay.
I mean, nobody there particularly at fault. It looked to me that Chris Harris, he hadn't particularly made a good start, but he just forced the bike to drive and maybe started the catalyst. But just talk us through this.
Yeah, I think just nobody's going to give an inch, are they, first corner? Unless you see Chris lifts a little bit there, Ty's leaned on him, and then Edwards come across off four, made a good start, leaned on Scotty, and just first been bunching in every sense of the word.
Yeah, you really just can't fit four motorcycles in about 4 foot of track, can you?
No, quite, no. And then says Scotty there, he's getting really hung up at the back. Very lucky boys to get up from that. I'd say nasty looking accident.
I mean, really looking at that, you can see, well, to be honest, it looks like Scott Nicholls has taken the brunt of absolutely everything. He's got 3 bikes practically on top of him, but the most awkward fall certainly there was Chris, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just the sound, from, say, you lose it behind the air barrier, in the pits, and the sound was just sickening. And say, I'm just so happy that they're all up and all okay.
It's that point there, Chris is really working the clutch. He's trying to find that little bit of extra traction to get ahead of Ty there. He just comes in with the elbows, that unsettles Ty, that's it, it's all going down.
That's right, yeah, no one's given an inch. No, they don't expect it in the first corner, but say, luckily, yeah, that's a nasty looking crash, isn't it? Yeah.
What exactly are you thinking at this point? You said from where you're standing in the pits, everybody disappears, you hear a big bang, and you know that 4 of those guys could well be considered for your World Cup squad.
I know, absolutely. I ran straight to the monitor to see the replay to make sure they all got up okay, because you couldn't see from where I was stood, but yeah, certainly heart in the mouth job for a second there.
But it's great to see that, you know, the British final means this much to the lads. I mean, nobody wants to see this sort of action, but it does just show what it means to them. Absolutely none of those riders gave an inch today. No, absolutely no, that was it. I mean, there's 4 riders there, Hearts and Lions just went in there and, as you say, didn't want to give an inch. And I don't think any of them can blame any, they won't be looking at somebody saying, oh, you took me off. I think it's just classic first Ben bunching. A 2-0 win over the Aussies in the Speedway Ashes series, and this sort of commitment bodes well for the World Cup, doesn't it? Yeah, it's looking really good. I mean, everybody sort of, you know, certain people wrote us off, and I think, you know, wrongly so, because, you know, if you say, with the heart, the courage these boys are showing here tonight and in the Test series, when again, a lot of people perhaps wrote us off against the Aussies, who are very, very strong, and yeah, the commitment is second to none. Fantastic. I'm really so pleased this evening to be. It bodes well. Thanks, Neil. Yeah. Cheers, Chris.
Well, unbelievably, the news that we're getting through from the pits after that dramatic crash is that in the next 30 seconds, we're going to be ready to go. The air fence is pumped back up, the riders are almost ready, and we'll have a restart with all 4 riders for the British final.
Yeah, incredible. You know, when they all went down, I was in Neil Middleditch, saw 4 riders go into the first corner, but none come out of it.
There's the 2 minutes.
Exactly, so we're hearing the 2-minute buzzer, so yeah, incredible scenes. And just epitomises, that first corner epitomises the level of commitment here this evening. It's been a great advert for Speedway, and certainly the British final is really, you know, can hold its head high here this evening, because it's been terrific.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what I was thinking when I was watching those replays there. You look at that and what it means to all those riders, and then try telling anyone that the magic has gone from the British final. It's back.
It's back big time, and I'm delighted to see it, because there were several years ago when it wasn't quite what you would have come to suspect. But here tonight, you know, you've got to say that with the championship on the line now, and Cardiff, of course, as a result of that, you know, it's a fantastic way to a fantastic finale to tonight.
So, second time of asking. They didn't get past the first turn, first time around.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they've had a change of equipment here. If a bike was bent, obviously not ideal to come out on your spare bike now this late on in the night. I don't know if Harris has had to change his bike.
Well, they are all on the same equipment.
Well, that's good news, because the last thing you wanted, particularly somebody like Wolverhampton who's won every race, the last thing he wants to do is to change his motorbike now.
So, the British title on the line, and a place at Cardiff for the British Grand Prix, which is on Saturday, June the 25th. Will anybody hold back this time to try and cut up the inside, I wonder, Kelvin?
Well, not if they all get there together. I think the problem with the first time around, no, it's a good question, but the first time around they all got there together. If somebody misses it, yes, of course, you need to then cut back up the inside, but there was no intent of holding back and cutting back the first time around.
So Chris Harris off the inside in red, Ty Wolverhampton going off gate 2 in the blue helmet, unbeaten so far, but it's a long time since he last raced.
Yeah.
Off gate 3 in white is Scott Nicholls, and off the outside is Eddie Kennett, who made a pretty good start off the outside, and we know that all 4 riders will be going for it. None of them will ask or give an inch here.
Well, they didn't the first time around. I suspect they won't the second time around. We just hope that they all get round the first corner and we see 4 fantastic laps of Speedway. Got to say that Harris needs to get a better getaway this time if he's going to win. He got a little bit snaky and then lifted at the vital moment and got himself in trouble. Here we go, second time of asking.
The British title on the line and a place at Cardiff for the British Grand Prix, and Wolverhampton's made a beauty. Ty Wolverhampton in blue has a lead, and now coming round is Eddie Kennett in yellow. Chris Harris is down, Eddie Kennett up the inside. Eddie Kennett is pushing Wolverhampton. Oh, and Kennett's gone down, so has Wolverhampton. Oh, drama here at Wolverhampton, and Harris and Nicholls are going to have another chance to go for the British title.
Well, it could very well be just a run-off between the 2 of them. You've got to say Eddie Kennett was the first to go down. He'll be the one to be excluded. did Wolverhampton. I didn't quite catch it from where I was watching, whether Wolverhampton had to take avoiding action from Kennick's motorbike, and that's why he went down. But if Wolverhampton can now get up and take his place in the rerun, it will be quite remarkable.
Well, Wolverhampton is obviously in some discomfort again down there.
It was a heavy blow, Nigel. He was going at top speed. No question, Kennick will be excluded. He was the first one to get out of shape. He was pushing so hard to get up the inside. He does well here, Kennick. He gets up the inside of Wolverhampton, gets his nose in front, but then loses it sort of about 2/3 of the way around the corner. And you've got to say, yeah, Wolverhampton just runs out of room here and has to bail off the back of the bike.
Well, Dave Dowling has thrown out the man in yellow, Eddie Kennick, for being the cause of the stoppage.
Absolutely the right decision, no question about that. Kennick charges up the inside here and then just literally pushes too hard and goes down. He's the one that goes off on his own, causes Wolverhampton to crash. Unfortunately, the two boys out the back, they missed all the action.
Let's hear from Eddie Kennick with Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. We're on the infield. I know you're bitterly disappointed. Can you explain to us it from your point of view? We've seen it and the commentators have said what they think. Can you tell us what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make a bad start off gate 4 and didn't get a bad run, but I felt like he left quite a bit of a hole going in there, and I sort of made it and felt like I passed him going in. But obviously I was running up because where it's so slick, and obviously I caught him, but hey, that's racing. And I can't knock for trying because I don't want to just sit at the back and lose. You know, I'm there to win, and I did my best at the end of the day, and you know, I felt good all night. I wasn't making the best starts, but it sort of come together towards the end. But well, I mean, I just got to say happy birthday to my mum because it's her birthday today. So sorry, mum.
How are you smiling after that? You must feel gutted though, right?
Yeah, I am gutted, but you know, people have seen on TV that I've tried my hardest tonight and not going to Cardiff this year. But hey, there's always next year, so just have to go back.
It's great that you're being so positive. Let's not go to next year yet, because there's also the World Cup. You might not have run tonight and you might not be going to Cardiff. However, you have really shown what you're made of, and you've shown that you've really stepped up and that your determination is there and that your passion is there, although it has been questioned, and you've shown everybody, you've proved everybody wrong. So what are you looking forward tonight towards this summer now?
Well, obviously I've got the GP qualifications to look forward to for the Grand Prix next year, and obviously hopefully being part of Neil's team for the World Team Cup, which you know I really want to do this year, and there's a good bunch of lads around with us, so I just got to keep pushing hard now and you know, keep focused on my racing. So yeah, it's all right, it's good.
Well done tonight, and happy birthday to your mum.
Cheers.
Well, Ty Wolverhampton getting a standing ovation from the crowd here because of his bravery and heroics. It sums up the night. He takes a look at the gate position, takes a look at his gate for the rerun, and he's holding his arm at the same time. Eddie Kennick, I think they're a good interview. He accepts the decision of the referee, Kelvin.
Well, he knew he was going in there red hot, and unfortunately he was always going in that narrow and that fast. He was always going to drift across the middle of the corner, but unfortunately for him, Wolverhampton kept battling hard and there was contact, and he was deemed to be the responsible, and in my opinion the referee got it right. He's come up there, he's right up on the curb, he has no option but to drift across there, and he actually goes down, and he leaves no option for Wolverhampton then to bail off the bike because he's running out of room. But it was a big effort from Kennick, maybe just charged a little bit too hard. If you can criticise, very difficult to criticise when it's such a tough battle and you're racing for the championship. Comes up the inside there is just enough room to do that, but unfortunately for him, as he drifts wide here, he drifts into Wolverhampton, and he then goes down.
Well, we are going to see a third attempt to stage the final, and we are going to be down to 3 riders only. No Edward Kennick. What it means is that Chris Harris and Scott Nicholls have a great chance now to go on and claim the British title after appearing to be out of it. Wolfie having some medical examination. Peter Adams, the Wolves team manager, is there with him as well.
What a night.
And it does mean now we know it will be Scott Nicholls or Ty Wolverhampton that will go to Cardiff as the wild card.
Yep, and certainly an opportunity for both of them there. You've got to say that
well, if the medical staff are trying to talk Wolfie out of taking his place in the rerun, I think they might be wasting their time, Kelvin.
Yeah, they will be. Certainly the answer from Wolverhampton will be, I'm out there, I want to be British champion tonight, but obviously, you know, they have to take precautions here. He obviously got off at fairly high speed. The air fence, fortunately, took the brunt of the impact, but I would suggest that he's still very keen to take his place in the rerun.
There is some concern down there with team manager Peter Adams being spoken to by the medical staff. Ben Barker showing some concern as well for Ty. But surely he will go for it. So it's obviously in
maybe it's precautionary. They just want to make sure he's okay. He hasn't got any sort of concussion. But yeah, he's going to.
Well, there you go. He's had enough of listening to the medics, and he's just going to get out there and do the business. He's a remarkable character.
And what a start he made the second time around. Can he make it the third time around? Because
he did leave a gap though, Kel, didn't he?
Yeah, just a bit. He wasn't expecting that charge from Edward Kennett. And, you know, he's got an opportunity now, but so does Scott Nichols and Chris Harris. Certainly Harris, who was on the inside there, was slammed tight on the inside and was having to work very hard. But what a dramatic end to tonight. It's dragging on a bit, but hey, it really is quite... you can't take your eyes off it, can you? It really is dramatic stuff.
Just adds to the drama, and, you know, that's some Speedway up, in particular the British final in this meeting, when the medical staff are talking to Woofy and potentially trying to tell him not to ride, so he just puts his helmet on so he doesn't have to listen.
Yeah, well, that's one take on it, I guess, but I would suggest it's more precautionary.
Sure.
Just want to make sure the boy's not going to do himself any harm. He's hit the deck a couple of times pretty hard tonight, and he's already suffering with the bad shoulder, so this is a huge moment for him. Absolutely huge. Very disappointing season last year. At the end of the year was... got to say that he was fed up with Speedway, fancied throwing the towel in, but so if he wins tonight, he's turned his Speedway career around big time.
That's for the title, but in terms of Cardiff as well, and he'd love a place at Cardiff. It sounds simple, but he's just got to finish ahead of Scott Nichols. And in the meantime, Scott Nichols, we know what the British title means to Scotty, so it's still a massive race coming up. And we can but wonder how much longer Dave Dowling, the referee, will give the boys for the restart, and we get on for a third staging of the final.
Yeah, the track's ready. There's no problems with the fence. Just had a quick sneaky look. So yeah, I'm sure that any minute now the 2-minute buzzer will go on, and we'll be up and away again. But it's dramatic stuff. No quarter being given here. Everybody going absolutely 100%. Really is quite nerve-jangling. I've got to say, up here, you just don't know which way it's going to go. I fancied Harris on the inside, but 2 times he hasn't managed to make a good start. But what a story it will be if Wolverhampton can manage to win tonight under such testing circumstances. Clearly not fully fit. He's been down a couple of times. Not the ideal way of going out and preparing yourself for the grand final. But here we go. Third time of asking. We're down to 3 riders. Who is going to be British champion tonight?
Well, thankfully, we are able to carry on late into the night here at Monmore Green tonight.
No curfew.
And if you've just joined us, by the way, late on this Monday evening, this is the final. You've picked a good moment to join us. It's a massive race because the British title is on the line, and also a place at Cardiff's Millennium Stadium for the wild card in the British Speedway Grand Prix on Saturday, June the 25th. That is what's on the line. So if you've just joined us, you've picked a perfect moment to join the live Speedway here at Monmore Green Stadium in Wolverhampton. It's a grand final. We're down to 3 riders only because Eddie Kennett was excluded. The cheers are for this man. He's the home favourite. It's Ty Wolverhampton. Needed a wild card to get here because he missed the semi-final with a broken shoulder. Now he's off gate number 2, and it's the 3rd time of asking. The nerves will be jangling. Chris Harris and Scott Nichols know that this is another chance for them because they were behind in the 2nd staging of the race. Harris off the inside, Ty Wolverhampton going off gate number 2, and Scott Nichols off gate number 3. The Cardiff wild card, we know, will be either Wolverhampton or Nichols because Harris is already there as a fully fledged Grand Prix rider. The British champion will be one of these 3 riders. Fascinating stuff from a fascinating meeting, Kelvin.
Brilliant stuff, and the British champion will be the winner, of course, of this race, and it's been taking some time to get there, but we're finally, for the 3rd time of asking, settling down for the big final.
Here we go again. 3rd time of asking. British final. British title on the line. And, well, for me, that was an unsatisfactory start, but the referee has let it go, and the lead is with Chris Harris now, and Harris has the race under control. Wolverhampton having a go now. Nichols is on the line as well. It's a controversial final here. Nichols is going to give it a go. Harris holds the inside line. Here comes Nichols. Oh, they collide down the back straight. Now Scott Nichols has the lead. Wolverhampton is 3rd. Harris 2nd, and Nichols is on the verge of another British title now. Drama here.
Fabulous first corner there from Nichols, got himself right up the inside and charged his way through to the front. And I've got to say, he's going to be British champion after that. Absolutely sensational performance from Nichols, out of nowhere, up the inside, charging to the front.
Super Scotty Nichols of the Swindon Robins is on the verge of another British title. It's Scott Nichols is the British champion, and he heads to Cardiff as the wild card. What a final, what a meeting, and it's Super Scotty Nichols who is British champion. Many congratulations to him, and we'll see him at Cardiff on June the 25th as well.
That means an awful lot.
Controversial final. That was an unsatisfactory start all the way for me, Calvin, but that takes nothing away from Scott.
Scott rode a brilliant corner there. Second time around, got himself right up the inside and literally just surging. He hit Chris Harris very hard down the back straight. Harris won't be happy about that, but certainly Nichols wanted it and he got it.
Nichols is the winner. Harris was second. Woffington was third. It's congratulations to that man. Scott Nichols is British champion. Well, what a night and what a meeting. Here's the start. Harris moves and takes the lead, and Dave Dowling lets it go.
Yeah, could well have been a red light start, but it's been an awful long night and he allows it to go on. There, Harris makes a really good, he has a bit of a go and he gets away with it.
How can he let that go?
Well, he has done, and questions will be asked about that, but the race is done. This was where the damage was done. Nichols gets himself right up the inside and charges across there. If Harris had gone down there, though, Nigel, I've got to suspect that Nichols would have been excluded for that move. That was extremely forceful. Harris stays up, and you've got to say that with Nichols getting up the inside, runs in the side of him, I know there's no question about that Harris will be upset about that move. Nichols out in front, picks up his 6th title on the night. Brilliant stuff from him.
Can't believe what I've seen here. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, and that is brilliant to see. Absolutely. They've just thrown the bike at each other and collided.
Yeah.
And Chris Harris showing what a super guy he is.
Well, that's great sportsmanship from Chris Harris, because he could have reacted very differently to that. Nichols, no question about it, were hungry for success and certainly comes up with a huge performance in the final when he didn't really look like winning on the night.
Chris Louis is with Ty Woffington.
Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, down here, utter devastation for Ty. Ty, third time asking, what a tough meeting that was. 15 points, what a tough final.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm surprised I didn't rerun it after bomber jump gate one. You know, it was a big jump, and you know, mate got in front of me and shoved me out wide. And I was in no man's land, and yeah, what can I say?
Was Chris's jump start, was that enough to put you off? I mean, obviously you got an advantage from it, but it looked like it just broke your concentration a little bit.
Yeah, it was half a bike length in front of me, so he just ran me up in the first corner, pushed me out wide. Scott came underneath. Can't do it about it. Oh well.
Track conditions obviously had changed quite a bit. It was very difficult to pass in the end. It was all about the start in that race, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's all it was, you know. I don't know what to say. I'm so disappointed, but you know, thanks to all the people that helped me out. Thanks to my mum, thanks to mechanic Warren, and thanks to all the boys for coming down and supporting me, and just thanks to all my sponsors. Thank you very much.
Unlucky, mate. Fantastic display. Well done. Over to you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you. I've got Chris Harris with me. Commiserations, Chris. I can imagine you must feel extremely good, and I know how much you wanted this. Talk us through how you lost the start, how you lost the lead.
I just couldn't get it around that corner there, and just drift off the line too much, and you know, Scott read it, and on the inside of him, as the night went on, the track went slicker and I went slower, so yeah, disappointing really.
How did it affect you, the fact that it had to be run so many times?
Didn't really affect me too much because I missed the starts the first 2 times, so I made a better start that time, but just didn't get across that checker flag first, so it's gutting really.
How hard is it to get your head over this now and focus on the weekend?
Yeah, I'll just have to take the positives out of it really, and just come back hard again next year and just worry about the weekend now. I've got the important Grand Prix coming up, so you know, we'll forget about this one now, put it in the back of our mind and get on with the job.
Thanks, and well done, Chris.
Cheers.
Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, Charlie. Scott Nichols, 6 times British champion. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. I'm a happy bunny now. It was it's hard work. My biker choice was not right in the first 2, so I jumped on the other bike, which I wasn't 100% sure about, and didn't really get it together all night until the final. But I've said all along, this heat 22, that's the important one, and had a few stabs at it, but finally got there.
I spoke to you earlier in the season. I said, you know, you're going to want this wild card at Cardiff. It's a fantastic meeting and a great atmosphere. And you said to me, no, it's all about being British champion. How much commitment was there in that final?
I think you saw how much it was. You know, I think it was important to all of us. I mean, Ty rode fantastic. I mean, I think the good thing is that, you know, shows that Britain has got some talented riders. I mean, it was a fantastic meeting. But yeah, for me, it's all about being British champion. You know, I knew if I was British champion, I'd be in the Grand Prix in Cardiff. So I'm excited about that now, and I'm looking forward to it. But this was first and foremost.
Congratulations from everybody at Sky, and certainly everybody from Ipswich. Well done, mate.
Thank you. Say hello to my little girl, Maya. I love you. And so.
Well done, Scott.
Brilliant stuff. Many congratulations to Scott, and well done to all the riders. What a night, Kelvin.
Yeah, fantastic effort at Speedway. Superb performance from Nichols in the final, because he was dead right. He didn't look like a winner going into the final, but he dug deep, found something extra special there. He really wanted it, and he pulled it off. Great sportsmanship and a great reaction from Harris.
And Scotty Nichols will be back on the big stage at the British Grand Prix on the 25th of June. Ty Woofenden was excellent tonight, 5-ride maximum in the qualifiers. Hard racing, and you have to sympathise with Ty to miss out in the final like that. Well, I think part of the reason was that Harris jumped on the start line and certainly broke his concentration a wee bit, and he wasn't in the right position in that first corner. But he's had a great night. Harris I tell you what, that was a good reaction from him. But Scotty Nichols has had some difficult times in the recent past, but this is a really good performance from him. He has been battling away, and he clearly was determined to get it, and that was a very determined ride in the final for sure. British champion for the 6th time. Scott Nichols of the Swindon Robins is the champion, and he's the wild card for the British Grand Prix at Cardiff as well. Many congratulations to Super Scotty Nichols. Superb ride from Scott Nichols. You know, you just sense that during the night that he really wasn't quite there, and he suggested in a couple of interviews that he wasn't quite on the money. Woofenden and Harris looked faster on later on in the night, but when it comes down to a sudden death final like that, I'll tell you what, he came good. And the performance, the ride, really what sealed it was that he got his front wheel right up on the inside in turns 1 and 2 and just charged up the inside and then bashed his way to the front. A lot of commitment and a lot of contact down the back straight when he actually passed. We're looking at the start, we're looking at Woofenden. Obviously, we don't see Harris jumping on the inside, but Harris goes a little bit wide. But it's the second time around where Scott Nichols is able to pull that move off and get himself right up on the inside. And then he's literally halfway down the back straight, they contact, there's a lot of contact, and he battles hard. This is really quite vintage stuff, showing a lot of experience. That's it. There, gets his back tyre right on the grip down low. Bang! Slams into the side of Harris down the straight. Really unsettles him, and that's the move that wins him the championship. Well, what a night here at Monmore Green Stadium in Wolverhampton. Scott Nichols is the British champion, and more live Speedway to come for you here on Sky Sports. The Danish Grand Prix from the Parken in Copenhagen, round 4 of the World Championship, 6 o'clock this Saturday, Sky Sports 2. And the next Monday, what a night in the Elite League. Bellevue Aces against Paul Pirates from Manchester, 7:30, Sky Sports HD 3 and 3. Join us for that. British Grand Prix, Saturday the 25th of June, featuring Scott Nichols and Chris Harris, and it's available in 3D as well. It's been the best of British, and it's well done to Super Scotty Nichols. Good night. Good night.